I didn't want to say hi to you because I don't like to start the discussion in an inauthentic way. So now I can tell you I missed seeing your fucking face. It's been too long.
Likewise, it has been far too long, my old lumpy friend. How are you?
Good, man. Good. I am never at this point I'm never surprised of how good and fucking suave you look, and your fucking lair looks as well. Holy
Thank
shit.
you. Thank you. I added some extra dust. I knew we were going to have a visitor, so I wanted to look extra nice.
I don't think I've ever seen I don't think I've ever seen like off-duty Hoax. It's very different than I imagined it might be.
Well, everybody just kept telling me you need to take things more seriously.
Right.
And you know, I don't know, man. I thought of Ric Flair, and I thought of the Four Horsemen, and if the guys that were taking themselves seriously looked good, and well, I pulled this off of a body over there. It was the right fit. So,
well, I feel like a fucking slob. Let me show you, because not many people know this, but I have a couple, like, this is off-duty Hoax. I am an off-duty Jason V right now. This jacket here is my off-duty jacket. This is just my chilling at home jacket. So in honor, I should have known, man. When I did this with Phil McCracken, Phil went all out. I should have known you were going to go out. So now I'm putting on, when I put this jacket on, I am officially on Scene Police fucking business. So now,
dude, look, we shop at the same store.
Oh shit! Yeah, there we go. That's the best store to shop in. Honestly, I was rummaging through all my shit because I really was going to wear my 52 Ways shirt. Now, unfortunately, there's no there's very little 52 Ways merch, but for those
very little, very little.
Too little, but I'll put a photo up here. I love 52 Ways, and I love you, Hoax, so much that I made a point to wear my 52 Ways shirt on the inside cover or the promo photo. I don't remember.
Right.
But I looked for that shirt and couldn't find it. I know it's here somewhere. But instead, in your honor, I wore the Gravediggers because I feel like you guys would get along maybe. I don't know.
Sure, we'd have a lot in common.
Yeah. So, yo, you cringed when I said 52 Ways. What's that all about?
Well.
There was again.
Well, all right. It's just 52 Ways started the way I wanted it to start, but did not end the way I wanted it to. And I guess it never, in reality, never ends the way you want it to end. But it was so abrupt and so there was just kind of like no coming back from it. Once we hit that that spot in the road. So, I just. Like, I think back and it was really fun and I had a really, really good time doing it. And I guess I cringe as more of just like when I think of the record, it's more of the cringe. Everything else about it was awesome, but just.
That's interesting because I kind of, I've had a scenario very similar where, when you talk about like, it didn't end the way you wanted to end. I think the real answer for musicians, for artists,
creative differences.
Well, I guess the end is though, like, we really don't want it to end. I mean, that's the thing. The fact that it ended is what sucks. And I can, the thing is though, sometimes it comes back. You never know. I mean, I feel like Hoax team, and I'm going to be honest, and I hope I don't offend anybody else in 52 Ways. I love Bobby Teenager. I love his name, number one. I love Casper, but for me, 52 Ways is Hoax. I mean, that's just what it is.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, you know how bands work, man. It's not just any one guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was initially it was me pulling everybody together. Come over here.
Yeah.
Let's play together. I already have a song. I was the one that was kind of like, all right, well, what are we gonna do? What do we wear?
Exactly.
That kind of stuff. And
that's
but everybody had their own influence. It was just me sort of at the head being like, there's this idea, and I'd get yay or nay. And if it was yay, then we'd expand on it with everybody, and try to make everything as authentic and unique as possible.
Yeah, of course. And that's I mean, obviously I had that exact same thought the first time I ever put a band together. When I was 8 years old and I saw Kiss for the first time, what are we gonna wear? What are we gonna look like? I mean, that's again,
we can't wear the same shirts, we can't have the same patches, dude. We all gotta,
Yeah. Here's a true story. We had a member in a previous band, which will remain nameless of mine. But we had a previous member, and when we first started, I mean, you're making people wear shit, and I'm sure you've been through that too, where
kicking and screaming.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, man. I think that might be the key to like knowing that person is right or wrong for your band, because like my fucking life partner is Jason 3D, and man, like as the first time we got together and started this thing, yeah, he had ideas for what he wanted to wear, and it was like I immediately knew this guy right here comes from the same bloodline as me. And but I mean, that's what I knew about you, actually, like, and that's why I mean, for a long time I respected you, and like as a musician, as a wrestler, as an artist, but also I feel like somewhere, and this is why I wanted to talk to you and like to talk to you anyways, because we're like real close to being the same guy from different universes. Yes or no? That's true, right? I mean,
yes. The very first time we met, your band and my band were sitting opposite rooms of each other. We had opposite tables.
Yep.
And it was weird. It was like you and me were lined up, and then guitar player was lined up, and the drummer, and then your werewolf and our roadie guy, and then and we were all sort of like,
Oh yeah, it was totally like
because it was weird. It was so weird. We're just like, what in the world are we staring at in the other side of the room? This is our band. What in the world is going on?
Yeah, it was the same way, because I don't know about that show for you guys, but and I don't even think we really chatted at all. But
not a whole lot. We rubbed shoulders. It was very much, dude.
Yeah. I was like, who the fuck are these guys? Yeah.
Well, it was still probing. Like I didn't want to let my guard down, because I mean, as much as everybody wants to say we're all in it together and we all love everybody, there's a part where it's very standoffish, especially when you don't know the guy, especially at the show that we were at.
Oh
you know what I mean? It was the who's who, and then some, and then their friends. You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like everybody that even thought of doing something like this was here.
Yeah, and that was a moment for me when I realized I wasn't special, because I looked around and I was like, well, fuck, everybody's doing this shit.
Everybody.
I mean, really, that was a big like shock to me.
And half of them are from where we're having the show, like,
yeah.
Or an hour's driving distance. Just like it's, whatever.
Yeah. No, that's true. And the interesting thing that happened was, this is crazy. I didn't even understand what your name meant. How stupid am I, right? I mean, I was like, what the fuck is 52 ways? What? I didn't even make the song connection, but what happened was after after that show, after we stared at each other and we're kind of like, yeah, whatever, motherfucker, strutting our stuff. Not to mention, we were all me, my guys, and your dudes, and you were at the bottom of the fucking food chain.
Oh yeah, we were nobodies.
Yeah,
and that's why it was so bizarre, because it's like, how could there possibly be somebody doing the same thing? I mean, not like the same thing, but like,
yeah, pretty
like
much.
Everybody else was doing the same thing, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You and we were like the same parts of the brain, or different parts of the brain in different parts of the country that were working on the same path. Like, it was just sort of weird. Bizarro is what we called you guys, the Bizarro Band.
Yeah,
we even
for
called
sure.
you by your band name for a long time. We called you Bizarro Band.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And like, you know, it was weird because even like your songwriting approach is different than my songwriting approach, but they were very much both. I think we were the only bands there that were not sort of trying to flex and be scary. We were the only bands trying to have a good time and be kind of funny and kind of humorous. And so,
well, yeah, that was our approach. Everybody's taking them. There's way too many people being serious about this. That was our approach with our style and our songwriting, was just lighten the mood up a little bit. I always wanted to be like in the dark cloud. I wanted to be the silver lining around the cloud. You know what I mean? So like, but then like you would have people like, weren't doing the same thing, and then they'd be like, you guys sound really, you sound like this, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, but you're singing about this. And I'm like, yeah. He's like,
yeah. I mean, that's the brilliance, right?
Exactly. But when you show up, everybody's expecting you to be a metal band or a juggalo band.
Oh, dude, juggalo all the time. I've gotten juggalo so many times in my life, and
any juggalos watching,
dude. And yeah, because later on, that would become true. The Jasons would play the Gathering of Juggalos. So I guess we are Juggalos now. I mean, once you play it,
family.
Yeah. Fucking gathering. And I'm getting fucking crazy. I got some of that. And I got this. This is fucking. Yo, whoop whoop, what's up, motherfucker? Wildin' out with this Fago. Yo, man, this is
family.
Yo, what's up, man?
Chilling with the Jasons.
Met a million cool motherfuckers ever, man. Yeah, but I went home. So I went home, and there was a promoter guy, and he was kind of, I guess, if I remember this correctly, this promoter guy messaged you and said, hey, you guys are a lot like this other band, you should message him. And you did. And I remember you just said like, hey, I'm Hoax. And I was like, hey. And that guy was right. You know, he was talking about us doing a split. We never did. But we started talking, and that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to fucking check this fucking band out. Let me go hear how bad they are and how much they suck. You did the same thing, didn't you?
Yeah, and then you're just like, I wanted to hate these.
Yep. And for me, it was, I heard this song, Grizzly Murder.
That's when I, my friends say,
fell in love with that song and with that record, which was No Brainer Part 2. Is there a No Brainer Part 1?
Yes, and it was left on the floor somewhere at the Masquerade.
Yeah.
The old Masquerade, rest in peace, Masquerade. There was a Part 1. We spent all the money we had at the time to make them, and one of us was a doofus and lost it at the show, and we never saw it again. So then what we did for Part 2 was all those songs plus 2. I think No Brainer Part 1 was 4 songs, and I think Part 2 was 5 or 6 songs. So, you know, that's why we called it Part 2. And then we always joked about doing a Part 3 when we ever sign like a big deal and do like a super mega produced Part 3, you know,
right,
in 3D or whatever. But
yeah, no, dude, and you talk about being like the silver lining, like that song, that record is so poppy, and both records are so poppy, but there's one song on there called Tear and Share, and
yes.
as much as that like song is poppy, it's really one of the most grim songs I ever heard. It's a man getting eaten alive by vultures as he's fucking dying. Yeah,
That's right. That's exactly right. For no rhyme or reason, I didn't think it really mattered. I just wanted to drop us in right at the moment of terror. When it starts, and I can't take all the credit for that. Casper Chaos actually wrote that song, and I wrote the lyrics for it, you know, collectively as a band, but he was the one that approached the band with that song, and he was, oh, my fire went out. He was all like, hey man, I got this song, man, and it's just like, you know, it's just what, man, it just makes me want to, like, you know, oh, like that, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, let's just, you know, lay it on me. And I think I wrote the lyrics to that song just sort of on the spot, fine-tuned it afterwards. I was like, oh, okay, but I didn't really have any, I sort of, what I had originally written was not what it ended up being, but I had written the vocal pattern, I guess is what you could say. And there might be some little nuances of what I had originally put in there. But I don't know what was possessing me to write a song about that. I was just trying to think of something really scary, you know, in the type of music that we were doing. You know, I wanted to take the lighthearted approach, as you said earlier, and then talk about something that's just like really gruesome. That was probably one of the hardest songs for me to sing, because I'm all like, ah! You know, I was singing like super high up there, but and you know, and you'll know what I mean too, when you're in a show, everybody's had like 2 or 3 monsters or their coffee, or they're, you know, everybody's all, you know, ready to go, and then your practice 1, 2, 3, 4 becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all of a sudden you're off. And that song, I was just like, you know, it was just like, so ridiculous to play. But Tear and Share was always a fun one. Funny, going back to Casper, there's a line in there that says, the time they're taking has been so daunting. And he was like, because he's Alabama man, you know that. And he's like, he goes, oh, I laughed so much because like we had so much fun with him. He'd be like, what is daunting? Like the way he said it was like,
yeah,
like it wasn't country, but it wasn't like proper English, I guess, but it was just like this weird South California, Carolina, Alabama mesh of daunting, a word they've never said before, you know. And I told him it was like daunting, and he's like, "What does that mean?" And I'm just like, it's just very prolonged, you know, that, you know, try to simple. He's like, "Oh, okay, well, that makes sense." Yeah.
I'll tell you what I remember with Casper, and I love that guy too. Like we really became like real, like, I don't know, I felt like our bonds as like the Jasons and 52 Ways happened. It was the Ghouls Night Out Festival too, and we played a couple of shows moving. Oh yeah, not the second one, the last one, before everybody hated each other, and
right,
all the terrible shit that everybody
was waiting for that DVD.
Behind each other's backs came to the surface. Like before all that went down, though, we played a few.
We did like 3 or 4 gigs together in a row.
Yeah, right, and we shot this video where you guys were like our mentors, you know. But my favorite part was, as we're shooting that video, the setup was Jason's 3D don't know how to tune his bass. Hoax is gonna help him tune his bass. So you guys were doing this whole thing like you can't get the girl unless you're in tune, and it was so funny. And then Casper had no idea what was going on, and he just walked up and he was like, "You serious, man? You can't tune your bass?"
Your band is one instrument, and your instrument has to be in tune.
But what is the tune? I don't understand it.
It's a how do I? All right.
Are you serious? You can't figure out how to tune a guitar yet? Yeah. I he's telling me.
I'm trying to explain it to him, man, but he's not quite grasping the whole like thing.
Yeah, I heard just like right in there.
Yeah,
this timing is so funny.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if he was in on that, or if he just rolled up and went, "Holy fuck, these guys really are fucking idiots, and they don't know how to tune their bass."
Well, no, he knew what was up. He was in on the, you know, on the my motivational speech to old 3D, and I think what happened is he is such a guitar aficionado that when my dead ass was getting tongue tied, he just wanted to chime in like he does, and he's like, "Seriously, you damn can't play down, you can't tune your damn guitar, man."
Yeah, dude. And I mean, we weren't that far from not being able to tune our instruments. Like we started our band, and like, I mean, we really don't have a whole lot of like, we're not musical virtuosos here, but we do all right, you know. But you know, 3D probably.
You guys are doing okay. Hey, once I taught you guys how to tune, everything has been smooth sailing for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. I think you know, we've improved. Once you learn the magic of the tuning key, now you want to see how much that lesson taught us? Let me see if I can reach over here and get it. Hold on. I mean, right now, I'm fucking talk about tuning. I got a fucking Floyd Rose. I got a tune down here. I got a tune up here. I mean, so that lesson.
See, now you're taking it to a whole new Bruce Lee level with the tuning thing.
It's like hugging a girl, man, when you're in tune.
We don't hug girls.
You gotta change that, man. I'm telling you, dude.
My mom won't appreciate that, man. Like, you know, I don't know.
There's always a girl out there you can bring home to mom.
Yeah. I was a bass player. I only had 4, but now you're Michael Badiardio or whatever his name is with the tuning.
Michael Badiardio. That's what we're gonna call him anyway. Yo, I don't know, man. Like for me, the highest I ever got, like honestly, as far as like my own personal guitar skill, was like when I was able to play a lead in a song. I felt like I had ascended, and that's as far as I need to go, really. And I haven't need to go any further, really, you know.
Well, you know, I can kind of relate here. Let me tell you, I don't know if anybody's ever heard this, but very much the same way where I was like, when I did vocals for Nada, that we were in a studio that like Justin Bieber and Beyonce and NSYNC and all those records are on the wall, right? And we're in there, and I hit the vocals, like the lead vocal. I did, you know how you do a couple takes just to make sure everything's steady or whatever. And everybody's kind of like, okay. And I just was like, can I got backup vocals that I've been working on. You mind if we try that real quick? And there's the collective band producer like, okay. So I get in there and roll tape, we're rolling, and I hit these backing vocals.
You know there's something you can't quite put your finger on. Something's definitely wrong, like a church full of people singing, but the building's empty. I don't know what I can make of all of this. Mama don't like tattletales, but someone's gotta know about this. If you could only see what's standing right in front of you with the glasses, I can see them. They're from far away. I'm pretty sure they're here to stay. You can't stop them if you can't see them.
First try, just like, bing! And it was very walk hard where I kind of glanced over and I see Casper and Teens in the booth or the opposite booth going, oh, you know, and but then you got to do layers, right? Because recording. And when I did all that, I did it all in one take, and then I thought that was just gonna be it because I'm punk rock like that. I was like, okay, we nailed it. And he's like, all right, we need to do it again. And I was like, we need to do it again. I don't need to do it again, you know, that can't you? Well, all right. And I did, but.
Well, like you guys put like, I mean, yeah, that whole like studio experience. And dude, I discovered this today. Like I have, and the record you're talking about is Wake the Dead.
Yes, dude, forgive me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. And I have that on my phone, but it's not on streaming, right? That's not out there anywhere other than YouTube.
No, it's just on YouTube. Like part of the problem with 52 Wasted was the financial instability. We never had like a bank account for the band. We never had any sort of like, all the income was split amongst 5 guys and then 4 guys and then eventually 3 guys. And then by the time we got to 3, we were all like, okay, let's try to keep it. We finally started getting some steam, but then by that time it was too late. But so we didn't have any way of like, nor did I really want to like go through the whole hoops of like renewing it every year and whatever. I just figured put it on YouTube and it's there for everybody, you know, listen to as many times as they want, you know.
Yeah.
So that's about as close as we got, you know. Maybe one of these days, you know, if I get a wild hair, maybe I'll throw it up there and see what happens. But
it needs to be, and I mean, dude, like for real. Number one, and this is the truth. Number one, that was my favorite record that came out that year, and number two, that's better than every punk rock, every horror punk record that came out within the 5 years before that. And I always thought your band and that record were like the one thing that was one of the few that was standing so far apart in that genre, which, look, I like horror punk. I like the community to a large degree, but the genre is brain dead and everybody rips off Michael Graves and nobody brings in anything else. And when you do, people kind of don't respond to it as well, because that's a genre where people want to hear the same stuff, you know, and I get that. But for me, it was such a breath of fresh air. Now, there's some like, dare I say, like Blink-182 influence on that record. Yeah, I don't know if that's the truth or not.
Maybe. What's my
Now,
age again?
For me, I had never listened. Here's the first time I ever listened to Blink 182 was when Matt Skiba joined, because I'm a Matt Skiba fan. That's the first time I like bought a record, right?
No way. It was then?
It was yeah. I'm way late. Now, I don't come from I don't come from the realm where it's not okay to listen to like Blink 182 and Sum 41 and like we can listen to all that shit. I never had a problem, but I'm such a fucking hardline dude that I want dudes that look crucial. I want capes and corpse paint. I want masks, and Blink 182 just looked like they were hanging out. And for me, though, you guys are the perfect combination because it's a similar sound. It's a very polished punk rock sound with the vocals, but it's cool horror shit. And I think like nobody else. If somebody find me another band that did that, there isn't another band that did that sound and horror punk. I've never heard one.
Well, you know, that was kind of the thing, man. I thought the very same thing. And I thought because of that, and because of weirdos like you or closet Blink 182 fans, you know, I thought that maybe we would appeal to those fans as well, you know, like underneath that torn denim black vest and that greasy black devil lock, there's a guy who wants to jump up and down like a kangaroo with his bright green bass guitar, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So, and I thought that maybe that would appeal, and live it did, but it didn't seem to transfer over when it came to people wanting to listen to it, I guess. Like they liked our energy and everything. It's not that we were bad, but I guess it was just that it was almost 60-40 pop horror, when maybe if we did it the other way, there might have been more of a land, I guess, a hit, you know.
You know what?
But I didn't.
I always thought it was this, man, and I don't know. But I truly think it was this. I think what we do is we get stuck in this idea of like the horror punk scene is, and like again, I'm not shitting on the horror punk scene, but it is what it is. It's a very limited, and it's a microcosm of the larger punk rock scene, and it's so easy to forget, like, because you're a horror punk band, we have to play the horror punks. When honestly, when the Jasons, and I'm obvious, you know, we're not fucking, you know, we're not Miley Cyrus level rock stars, but I'll tell you, we didn't get real traction. We had supporters in the punk rock scene and the horror punk scene, still do, but it wasn't until we said, you know what, and we started saying it, fuck horror punk, fuck it, we don't want to be part of it. We'll play your shows, we'll be in it, but we're not of it. We're a fucking punk rock band. We're going to do more. And it was the people outside of that scene that dug us. And then the crucial motherfuckers in the scene that liked it, stuck with us, because they knew we weren't saying, yo, fuck you. We were saying, we don't want to be the biggest horror punk band, because that's a tiny scene. And I think and that's partially why I'm talking about this record. We only have 1,000 followers on our YouTube, but goddamn it, every 1,000 of them needs to check out your record, because that's a record that it's not.
Well, it's funny you say that, because we had that conversation years ago.
Yeah.
I would call you or talk to you or whatever and be like, dude, I don't fucking get it. And you'd be like, nah, man, don't. It's, you know, just hold steady, man.
Yeah.
And we had the conversation of not playing to that crowd because obviously they don't want it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're right. You almost feel sort of tethered. You said it once, it was like of the scene, but not part of the scene. And they certainly have a way of making you feel that way. You know what I mean? When you're being genuine and everything is very much you know, you're just like, all right, whatever. And then you play, and then you try to rub elbows and network and do all that, and then it just is very cold, you know. At least in our experience, you know, there are some. I'm not, you know, of course, you know, names and faces will be changed to protect the innocent, but there are bands out there who were very welcoming, as they should be, and then some that were surprisingly not. And then you're just kind of like, well, you know, and then you try not to be like, okay, well, maybe they had a bad day, maybe they got stiffed at the last gig, maybe they're one of them found out that their lady's cheating on them, and everybody's bummed in the van now. You're like, Lord knows why everybody's in a bad mood.
Well, I'll tell it's honestly, I mean, and a lot of scenes are like that, you know, like you roll up to a punk rock show like we did, and it's like the Warriors. You look at the other bands like rival gangs. Maybe you have an uneasy alliance. Yeah. Maybe you form an alliance. Maybe you go to war. But I'll tell you what, man, and I can say this for real, like, you know, and of course the horror punk scene that we're talking about now, to a large degree, fucking died out. Like a lot of those bands aren't around. That group of people that used to be this super tight knit, they all hate each other, and then they came back, and then they hate each other. But here's what I noticed, and it was at the point for the Jasons when we were like, you know what, we don't give a fuck about you guys, and we don't want to be part of your scene. If people like us, they like us, and we're going to do our thing. When we did that, people started going like, oh man, we better be friends with them, because it looks like they're going outside of the, you know.
Yeah, they're going to go play at shows that we would never go to.
Yeah, and I think that, like, it's really like going to the cool kids table at school. If you act like they're cool, they're going to treat you like shit. But if you realize that, and I'm not talking about everybody, but you know, there are people there who are very fragile with regards to, they don't want to see anyone else do well. And like our interactions always felt real genuine, and we wanted each other to do well, you know. And there's a few other bands like that too, you know.
Well, that's what I mean when I say you're talking and networking and things like that. It's like, yo, dude, what's up? Hey, yo, like your band, oh, cool here, blah blah blah, small talk, and then, you know, you either do or don't hit up homeboy on MySpace or Facebook or whatever, and then you know, then you decide if you're going to have a relationship with this person or not. Did I really like their band or whatever? Okay, I liked them. They seem like nice enough guys. And then all of a sudden you develop that relationship, and a lot of times, I don't know if it's the individual that you're approaching because you think that's the one you should approach, who has no say in it, or if it's a collective, like, don't talk to anybody about this type of stuff because we roll close to the vest and whatever. But it was just, like I said, very cold, you know, like everybody was very friendly and cordial, shook hugs and everything, you know what I mean? But like, excuse me, I also understand that once you reach a certain level, you have to sort of abide by certain guidelines, I guess. I wouldn't know. But you know what I mean? There's, you know, certain schedules, and you got to be here, got to be there, which I totally understand. But even on it seemed like the harder everybody tried to unite underneath that umbrella, the umbrella was like, wait, let's close.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, that's good. We can get one more in there. Okay, go.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Every scene, I think every scene is like that to a degree. And my problem is, like, in a scene, and we'll use horror punk because it's a good example. I could probably throw Ramones core there too. We're not dug into the Ramones core scene the way that we almost got dug into horror punk, because we're at the place now where if people are cool with us, they're cool with us. If not. But there is this level of, when you come into any scene, whether it be horror punk or whatever, you're not allowed to set your sights on being the best band in that scene. And if you do, No one's okay with that because there are these established norms. And for me,
Pecking
and I can
order.
say this honestly, I'm going to use the Ramones core scene. I think the Jasons are better than the Queers. I think the Jasons are better than Teenage Bottle Rocket. I think the Jasons are better than, fucking Screeching Weasel. And
Well, you
here's
know what? I think the Jasons are better than all those guys too. So,
but here's the thing though. I know that nobody else agrees. Well, I know that not many people agree, but the thing is, I really believe if you're in a band and you don't think that, you need to work
I had the
harder,
same. Yeah, of course.
you know?
You got to be the best up here, otherwise, it's what's the point?
Yeah. And I can acknowledge and I said those three bands because they're really bands that I look up to, but when you put out a record, if you don't think it's the best punk rock record that came out that year, you fucked up. And bands in the horror punk scene, especially, and I witnessed it too, you have to come in and suck all the cocks of all the guys up here. But the problem is, the horror punk scene, and up here is still the bottom of the barrel because it's a tiny scene. So when we
that's what I had. It was just like a subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre, and even the tippy top here is still like a blip on the radar when it comes to the gigantic musical spectrum. Anyway,
yeah, and good bands. There are good bands in the scene. There are good people in the scene. I could shout out a million cool people. Fucking, you got your fucking, for every asshole band, you've got a cool band, and so you can't throw everybody into that, but there is a whole level of that, and that's why I've always had trouble with the idea of support the scene. I would rather support a band and people that I like, and fuck the scene, because the scene tells you have to support this, you have to like this, you have to think that this is the best band in the world. I always call it, and I'm going to coin this phrase, it's a scene at buttercup. It's cohesive on the outside, but on the inside it's corrosive. And once you take a fucking bite, you get a mouthful of fucking battery acid and you lose your taste for it. And that's what happened to us. I guess that's what happened to you a little bit too,
Well, you hit on so many topics right there, but I guess my response is like, seen it buttercup. That's funny. It definitely felt like the He-Man Woman Haters, man. If you didn't know the high sign, you didn't get into the club. And as hard as you tried, and what I mean is, it's not like, oh, please, 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 but just like doing your normal thing, you just be like, hey, emails, we try to talk, whatever. And you never really seem to get the high sign back. You're just kind of like, well, and then the next show, well, maybe they were having a bad time. And then you show, and it's kind of the same thing. And then you start to decide that, well, maybe you almost throw it on your band for a second, like, well, maybe we're not good enough, because like all these people don't want to talk to us. Then you're like, well, maybe it is because of that. Maybe they want to talk to us because we are so good. You know what I mean? There's like a whole, there's all of that in this tiny little scene. And there was, you are a liar if you say you like every band that you play with.
Sure.
I love every single band that I've played with. You know what I mean? There are some fantastic dudes out there putting their hearts and their souls and their sweat and their blood and God knows what else, because you know what goes on at these shows.
Yeah.
For nothing, for 4 people, for 80 people. Like, I have nothing but the utmost respect for the independent musician and the professional musician. However, that does not mean that I like their music. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, it's like, there are more bands that I like when I'm there, but then what, and then I think, well, maybe that's how a lot of people are with 52 Ways. Maybe they were that way with my band. You know what I mean? It's very confusing because you go into it expecting camaraderie, and then, like you said, it's like the Warriors, where you show up to a gang war with hardly a gang.
Right.
And you have to decide, okay, well, are we gonna be dead people or not? Because we gotta take this seriously. You know what I mean? Like, and fucking homeboy's like, oh, well, I just started my real estate, license, and what am I gonna do? So then all of a sudden everything falls apart when you involve wardrobe.
Right.
But I was saying, I had this, knowing that I'd be talking to you, I was thinking about potential topics, and this was one of them. And the analogy that I came across was, it was like, all right, man, again, like you said, everybody wants to be the best. If you're not trying to be the best and you aren't out there giving your best, trying your best, then what is the point, right? You want to be the next Van Halen. You want to be the next Aerosmith. You want to be the next Michael Jackson, right? So you try and you try and you try and you try, and you eventually become one of those cars on that train that everybody loves looking at when it drives by. Oh man, here comes a Jason's car. You know what I mean? But it seems like the train only got so long. It's a pretty cool train. It's not impressive, because when it was ever this car's turn, there was no, like, when it came to hook up the next car to get them over, as we say, they were like, nope, see ya, and then there you go. Then there's your car just kind of coasting until it stops. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there never seemed to be a chance to, using wrestling terms, get over.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was almost like, we'll speak in terms that are non-specific, okay? Nobody gave a crap about Brutus the Barber Beefcake until the Hulkster said, listen here, dudes, you gotta talk to my man Brutus over here, man, Brother Brudeye, and then all of a sudden he's got action figures and whatever, but there never seemed to be that.
Yeah. That
I saw it happen locally.
Yeah.
And all these other bands and all these other genres, you'd see these bands playing, and then, like, I would see it happen, but it never seemed to happen there.
And that's important, because exactly what you're talking about, I mean, the Hulkster endorsing Brother Brudeye, that is the chain. And I guess I can say, in the Ramones core scene, if we've experienced a little better, because the good example of the chain is the Queers just did it for us. The Queers said, hey man, hold on, visual aid real quick. So here's the fucking chain. And
we're putting you over, kid.
I agree that it didn't happen in horror punk, but so, like, in Ramones core, there was this, and the Queers didn't have to do this with us. They got fans. They don't need us, but they put us on this. And then what we did was the fucking Black Russians split. Now, I think the Black Russians are one of the greatest bands out there right now. I'm not saying by any stretch of the means that they needed the Jasons, but on another level, we have a bigger audience. It's just the fact we have more people that listen to our band than theirs right now. And so we tried to do the same thing. And, the reason a lot of those other bands don't do that is, I think, because they feel like, and let me say, this is the truth. A lot of those bands are so generic that they know if they point out a band like 52 Ways that has more creativity in their little finger than this Misfits clone, that they might lose some fans. And that's what it comes down to, which is like for us, it's like I said, I like to think that we're the greatest band in the world, but I also temper that with knowing we're the greatest Jasons in the world. There's no better Jasons, right? We're not the greatest Lillingtons. We're not the greatest 52 Ways, but at what we do, we're the greatest. And that's why.
That's absolutely right.
And all those generic bands, the problem is, if I'm a clone of Michael Graves' Misfits, well, what sets me apart? So I don't want to let anybody else hear another band that might be considered better at this copycat style. And I think that's the problem. Those bands didn't want to put you guys over or us over because they were afraid that maybe someone would find a new favorite band. And you got to be willing to do that. Like Black Russians, they're a great band. I didn't want to do a split with a band that I thought sucked to put myself over. I wanted to put out a split with a band that I thought was good. And like, you know, so there has to be a level of like, yeah, man, I know who my band is. Fuck you. And, you know, let the people decide. But those bands didn't do that. How many splits have you seen come out in the horror punk scene? Fucking zero, man. Think about it. Think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can think of. There's two iconic ones that I can think of, but other than that, I mean, well, that's the thing, dude. It's like I don't know. I don't get a chance, you know, to experience it anymore. Like you know what I mean? Like everybody was so like wham and bam, like they were turning out like what we were. That's kind of another detriment to our band is we were just, I think, a little bit slower than everybody else. Like we just couldn't get our traction. But by the time this split comes out, it's already sold out, and then it's old news, and then you know what I mean. And then I find one finally, and then like I can't keep track of all that, man. It's
and
good for them though. You know what I mean? Like I love when bands are. That's what I love about you guys is that you guys are constantly putting out vinyl. Like it's weird how like this retro wave has come back where like. People are like, screw these little silver discs. I want this fragile black one.
Yeah.
Yo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is. But hey, just so you know that I am not a lie. I can reach over here and see, just watch what I can just reach over here. All right.
Oh, hey, there we go. Fucking wow. Custom tape and everything, eh?
Bam.
Boom. See, there we fucking go. I like that you kept that custom tape there. Yo, but for real, I mean, when it comes down to, you know, if there are horror punk bands out there that are willing to put another band out on Front Street, you got to give those guys respect. And but I don't see a lot of it happening nowadays, you know. And what really ends up happening is people either get out of that scene or they conform and they stay there. And that's the thing about you also that fucking blew my mind. I saved, because I wanted to quote you. I don't really prepare when I do this, but I did want to quote this from one of your fucking songs, and I knew I would fuck it up. So there's this line in your song, and I had to fucking scan through. I was like, I know this is fucking in there, but you say, I'm guilty.
Yeah, we're so scared we don't even have lyrics out on the internet.
Yeah, right. I know. You say, I'm guilty of acting and overselling everything you put in front of me like I'm a superstar in wrestling. You said that on your fucking record, and then when your band ended, you were just like, you know what? I'm going to go be a fucking professional wrestler.
And here we go.
He's going to be feeling that for a couple days.
Yes, he is.
Let me do that. Like nothing. I mean, I know it wasn't nothing.
Pretty much.
And you just took, you know, Hoax T Massacre, just went and became a wrestler. Like,
I'm the occult of personality.
How'd you fucking do it? What? I mean, what, dude? How? I like.
Well, okay, so this might be another reason why we didn't fit in. If anybody has ever seen my band play, I used to dress like it was either David Lee Roth or one of the Rockers. It was basically that. But like, I did all the bandanas and everything, and my hair was bleached blonde, and I was just trying to go as anti black greaser as possible. And because of that, people would watch us play, and then they would be like, I'd be like, what'd you think? Hey, how would you guys have fun? What'd you think? Yeah, that was good. You should be a wrestler. And I'm like, oh, yeah. But did you guys have fun? What'd you think of the show? Yeah, it was good. But you should be a wrestler. And I'm like, band? Anything? No? Still gonna tell me I'm a wrestler? All right. So it was, I sort of had that jokingly. I was just kind of like, okay, maybe I'll do that. And then somewhere down the line, it became, all right, so it was going to be two things, and I'm not going to lie. I was either going to try professional wrestling, or I was going to try to do a horror host show. I was going to try to do, just that, my own take on movies. And like, if you've ever been around me long enough and you're fortunate enough to hear me explain an hour and a half to 2 hour movie into a 7-minute overact, I've been told it's a sight to see. And, so I was thinking about maybe doing that. And then that sort of bled over into when I decided to do wrestling, because there wasn't anything even remotely close to it. See, that's the thing too, man. I'm going on, this is like my 2016. So 5 years. And when I was doing it, they, to kind of give you an idea, it's like, okay, you sign up, you start training. Somewhere down the line, they say, all right, kid, do you have a name? You got a gimmick? And usually it's like, oh yeah, man, I'm the destroyer, and I love football. And you're just like, okay. Or or The Rock is basically who people like to be. Can't say I blame them. But they had asked me this question, and in my head, I was like, okay. I said, yeah, I got something. And he's like, they go, oh yeah? And I was like, yeah, and they're all like, so lay it on me. And so I just gave them Hoax's history. I was just like, blah, 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 and he does this, and he was this, and he was like rock and roll, and blah, 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 and this and that, and up and down, and da, da, da. And they're like, okay. All right. So I was fortunate that I had something so unique to bring to the table already. Warm reception is not what I would say. Very much the same way that, like we were talking about previously, there are faces in a crowd that are too many to point out, but they all might remember this, because I sure do. When I decided, we would go to this joint all the time, me and my friends, over the years, we've been there 2 dozen, 3 dozen times, maybe. Nothing like regular, because it was kind of hike. Anyway, I digress. So I go in there and I'm like, okay, so I'm going to do this. How do I do it? This is the place. This place, I'm like, yeah, but this place is more of like a, yeah, maybe not a but, you know, so I went there. I show up and, you know, my sunny disposition, V, but oftentimes I can be a bit of an a-hole. And I thought that's probably one of the better characteristics that I should demonstrate for these people in order to get their attention. In this one show that I hadn't been to in months, maybe a year, right? I have all these regulars watching me and not the match. I'm booing their guys and I'm cheering the other guys. That's all I was doing. I was not vulgar like you guys. I did not swear. All I did was bizarro cheer, right?
Yeah, right.
And I had this whole lady of ringside of ladies all hand pecking at each other. You know, I got this old man over here just get mean mugging me. I have a sister of one of the guys come sit down next to me and be like, you really should stop. And I'm like, well, oh. Then I'm getting homophobic slurs getting thrown at me.
That's how you know you're in right there.
You know, you purple pants wearing F-word motherfucker, you know, all that stuff. And I'm just like, yo.
Yeah, that's what you need. That's
well, and I was like this because I was just like, this was easy. I didn't even have to do anything. I just showed up. And then that escalated. I was doing one of these. That was 3. You saw it. That was 3. Oh, that was 3. I was doing one of those things. And then, but like, I got sort of cornered in the building because everybody was sort of not leaving and they were all sort of, get them, boys. You know, I was waiting for the torches to light up.
You are a fucking monster. I mean, torches and
I'm, like, I will be the most famous monster of all time. You give me time. But yeah, so like I'm waiting for the torches to go up, and then I sort of like, I don't even remember what it was, but it was just very much like, yeah, whoop, like one of those things. I make it outside because they had to get everybody out to clean the building. So then I'm all like, okay, and these people are spilling out in front of the building and I can't get to my car. So normal person would just be like, let it cool down, right? Not me.
No, you can't.
That was 3. That was 3. Out Slim Jim got it. Oh man, that was 3. You saw it. The ref called 3, not me. Don't get mad at me. I'm doing all that stuff. The old man that was mean mugging me is now walking up to me all super slow. Goddamn motherfucker. And then all the pecking hens over here are all just louder. At me, There's all the other people that are just like, ooh, I just don't even know who this guy is. This is just exciting, like. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, this dude, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Coach Mikey. He's a manager of the Ugly Ducklings.
No.
Okay. Him and this other cat named Ethan Cage come out and they sort of like something out of a movie. Like there wasn't all this like, yeah, but they like came to my rescue. And one of them turns to me and he's like, how are you getting more heat than us? And I just kind of gave him one of these. And I was like, let me talk to whoever's in charge, And he's like, well, whatever. And of course I waited and, I waited long enough. And then I was just like, you know what, I should probably just leave. I'll try, they know who I am, they have to by now. These people do.
Yeah.
And so then I went back to the next show, did the same exact thing. And this time at intermission, they sent somebody to me and was like, go meet dude buddy back by the door. Go back by the door. Open the door. And he just kind of gives me one of these. He's like, well, do you want to be a fan or do you want to be a fucking wrestler? And I'm like, a wrestler. And he's like, all right. I can't remember the day. Show up Monday at this time. And I'm like, thank you. And I was just like, so then I went back in and I proceeded to, continue on like a madman. But it was very just like you would, it was just as close to as I would want it to be for the day and age that we live in. I didn't hike, 3 miles through the snow to Stu Hart's basement to wait outside for him to cook us breakfast and then blow us up for 6 hours. That wasn't my experience.
Yeah.
But,
well,
there was a couple options, but that's the one that I took. And I'm happy that that's the one I made.
That first taste, I mean, and that's it, man. Like, and I can relate in a few ways. Like the first taste of, I've used what I have, my persona, my art, and gotten a huge reaction from people. That first taste of heat, it's fucking addictive. And like,
oh yeah,
even crossing over into what the Jasons do, like people don't understand.
Oh, you guys are masters of heat. You guys are heat seekers. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like people, they don't.
You guys are my heater when I'm in town.
Oh yeah, when they try to when they argue with us or when they get offended and this and that, I mean that's like our payoff for And the thing is, what really got it connected with me was you're talking about you just went and you're in your own lane and you're cheering for your own guy and you're creating heat and everybody thinks you're an asshole. And that's the thing that I was thinking, going all the way back to the scene. When we started, the Jasons, when we started just being like, yeah, we're the greatest band in the world. We care about ourselves. We don't care about anybody else. A lot of people in their own heads created heat with us and other bands because they'd be like we would get it all the time. Like, oh, you got a beef with so-and-so, right? And it's like, no, well, how'd you get that? And it really came down to, well, you don't suck their dicks and say they're the greatest, so you must have heat with them. No. When you're just doing your own thing, it offends people because you're not doing their thing. And that kind of mentality, though, has always been in me. I'll bet it's been in you. Let me tell you about I had a similar experience when I was 16, right? So
do tell.
I went on this date with this girl, and it was in this place called Preston County. First time and last time. She didn't touch my penis, but whatever.
All right.
So there's this place called Preston County, and I'm going to tell you the true legend of Preston County. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, Hoax, but I think you'll like this. Apparently, in Preston County, it's like a deliverance-y kind of place. It's a very heavy place. School closes down during hunting season. In Preston County, and this ain't got nothing to do with my story, but I want to tell you about this. The legend has it that there's a place in Preston County called Hollywood. And Hollywood is apparently a trailer park way back in the middle of the woods. And apparently in Hollywood, there's a man named Two-Headed Eddie Moats. And Two-Headed Eddie Moats is an inbred monster that has two heads and lives in a trailer park called Hollywood in Preston County. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think I met some of his relatives when I was 16. What happened was I went to a wrestling match. Now, it's funny, man. Like when I talked to Phil McCracken, the Eggman, we veered into wrestling. I knew I was veering into wrestling with you, obviously, because, yeah. But it's weird, man, how many things in common punk rock and wrestling and gimmick bands in wrestling have. But when I was 16, I saw a flyer that said the Iron Sheik and the Masked Assassin are going to be wrestling in Preston County. And I knew I had to go because
I should bring a girl to this.
I guess that was a bad idea. Yeah. When I was a kid, though,
I have a side note to that. Finish. I have a funny story for that.
I had a transformational experience when I discovered wrestling as well, because I love the pageantry. I don't care about the matches as much, but let me tell you something. When Demolition come to the fucking ring, Jason V's little penis got super hard, and I knew I needed that in my life, right?
I have their autograph on the other side of the dungeon over there.
I have a Demolition autograph here somewhere too. I can't reach it, but I can show you this. I can show you this thing here. Rest in peace, Crush. There we go. I took this girl on a date to this wrestling show at the Armory, and we're standing there. I'm 16 years old. I had just discovered punk rock. I had green Billy Idol hair. I was wearing this pair of homemade kind of bondage pants and some fucking, I was all punked out. You know the look. And so I'm sitting there in the front row, and the Iron Sheik's old ass rolls in, and he's doing the weights, and you know.
And you fucking your green hair, I make you humble, put you in camel clutch, mama.
No. It was the opposite. Actually, the Iron Sheik said, everybody stand for Iraqi national anthem, you fucking pigs. And me, I'm just there to see the Iron Sheik, and I didn't want to make the guy mad. So I stood up and I put my hand on my heart, and he says, you see young man right there, he knows what he's doing, he knows the Iraqi national anthem. And so the Iron Sheik transferred his heat over to me at 16, and I'm standing there and I start looking around, and all of a sudden all the middle fingers went from the Sheiky baby to the V baby, and I'm getting middle fingers, and I liked it, you know? And so I start giving fingers back. Well, the wrestling match happens. It's over. The next match happens with the Masked Assassin. I was excited for that. But this little motherfucker, he was short. I'm like 6'4.5" or 6'5" or something. I ain't been measured in a while, but
right.
This little man comes giving me the finger, and this girl that I'm on a date with says, hey, that guy's giving you the finger. We better get out of here. And I said, fuck that guy. He's tiny. Look at me. I'm big, man. Well, here's what you don't know, Hoax. In Preston County, everybody's fucking related. So into the wrestling match, the whole front row gets up, and they're all together. No joke, Hoax. They walk over to me, and this little man gets in front of me, this little kid, and he says, you know something, buddy? I'm going to kick your ass. And I kind of grinned and snickered, and then I felt it from behind, a bear hug. But I also felt a big floppy pair of tits in my back, so I realized a big woman is holding me now. And then this little kid punches me in the face, this little guy. So I kicked him so hard, I ripped my bondage pants, but I was fucking like, I'm dead. Because there's a whole group around me, and they're going, kill him, kill the bitch, fuck this guy, fuck this little F word, yeah.
Oh, man.
The security guy comes up, and he says, hey, and everybody stops, and I'm like, oh, thank you, Mother Jace, thank you, Mother.
Like you.
But guess what he says? Take it outside. And so once again, your man Jason V and his girlfriend are on their own. But the most amazing thing happened, Hoax, and I don't know what happened. Maybe it was divine intervention. We're walking out, and I just look over at this little redneck kid who just punched me in the face, who I just tried to kick, but my bondage pants held me back and then ripped. I look at him and I said, you fucking inbred piece of shit. Wrestling is fake. Don't you know that? And he's like, when we get out here, we're going to kill you. And I was terrified. I knew I was dead. But then we exited the building, and it was like all the heat that the Sheik had given me just dissipated, and everybody went their separate ways. And I was glad, because I would not have been able to survive all of that guy's family and him. And it was the weirdest thing, though. I had a giant I looked like I got hit by a fucking truck. That little dude punched hard, you know?
No.
But yeah, I thought I was dead, but I'll tell you what, that was the first time I got that kind of heat, and it was kind of addictive, you know? It felt good. And ever since then, I've searched it out.
Heat is one of those things where it's like, it's guttural. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing for you to go out there and play by the rules and, you know, be family friendly and whatever. But when you break those rules and you get that heat, it's like, ooh, oh yeah, like you can just feel it. And then that's why I believe heels point, because then you get this feeling, and then your next thought is like, well, you know what I mean? Like Skeletor power,
Yeah,
power, you know.
yeah,
But
exactly.
instead it comes out like, I'm gonna kick your ass, man. I'm gonna tell you what. But it feels like that, you know.
Yeah,
what I
right,
mean?
exactly. So
you know what? I'm listening. I'm gonna go fill my cup up. I'll be right back.
All right, that's all right. You go ahead. You go ahead. Now, as Hoax is gone, I'm gonna let the viewer know that I have to pee right now, but I'm gonna hold it and I'm gonna keep drinking. So we'll see how this works. Maybe we'll even cut this. Nope, he's back. Yo.
Yeah, plumbing in the dungeon, man. It's fantastic.
Yo, I might pee my pants, but I'm gonna risk it. Let me ask you this though. So I feel like having been wrestling as long as you have now, you said 4 years, and man, I remember when you were training and I would see photos of your chest just fucking displayed black and blue.
Yeah.
But what is it that, and I don't know if you've done this yet, I don't know, but there's a point where heat, I have a theory, but I want to hear yours, and then I'll tell you my theory. You tell me if you think I'm right or not. There's a point where heat becomes to this level where all of a sudden people start to love you. And when you were talking about you're wearing your purple pants and people are throwing out homophobic slurs, I think about Goldust. And I remember Goldust coming out. And I mean, let's be honest, his gimmick was he was gay, and they knew that would get him heat, and it did.
Yeah.
But I remember I knew all these redneck kids, and they used to hate Goldust because they thought he was gay. But there was a point where that was erased for them, and all of a sudden, yeah, man, Goldust is fucking badass, man.
Dude, all right, so here's the thing. And I've fallen victim to that, and that's why I had to make adjustments accordingly in recent endeavors to correct this course. But what it comes down to, years ago, when you and I were just little horror kids, you know, watching Monday Night Raw, there was this, like, Stone Cold was, by all accounts, a bad guy. Doing that to your boss is not supposed to, you're not supposed to cheer that guy. But fortunately for Steve Austin, that's how every single, we'll say, WWF fan, and then wider after that, felt. So then they were like, no, I like this guy. That's my man, you know. And then The Rock showed up and took his whole new spin on, like, well, you know what? I'm going to do things my way. Then it became, you know what? I'll say it like this. Corny says it best, man. It's like, it's really hard to tell who's a good guy and who's a bad guy these days.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody's playing it safe. And that's, again, you know, I believe heat is more powerful than any shine that you can get. And what I mean by that is with heat, you can feel it. You don't have to tell the people to do it. You don't have to look at them and say, come on. Because when you look at them, they're already like this.
Exactly.
But it's some people say it's easy. And when they say it's easy, I believe that's the cheap heat where it's a lot of suck my dick, fuck you motherfuckers to old granny, and of course that's gonna get heat.
Yeah.
Or the slurs directed at anybody. I mean, that's cheap. But good heat makes them think. Good heat is a slow burn. Shining is like one of those poppers that you throw on the ground. Pop, whoa, that was cool. You can shine up a million times all day long. Runs out eventually. But you like one of those little dealies on the ground.
Oh, the old snakes. Yeah.
Just keeps on going. Smells bad, stains everything when you touch it, falls apart because your natural instinct is to pick it up, and of course it falls apart. Total heel. You know what I mean? You gotta make them think. You can't just go out there and give them the finger. I mean, you can, but I believe that heat is a valuable component, and then when wielded correctly, you can obtain more, almost double. You know what I mean? It's like if you're doing your job and you stick true to what you believe in, you don't care what anybody says or what anybody tells you, and you just go for the throat, you're going to lose a lot of people. You're going to lose a lot of fans. But they're going to remember you.
Yo, you know what? One of my most proud moments of, as far as like getting.
Sorry for the promo.
Getting that kind of heat. One of my most proud accomplishments as being in the Jasons was that at the same exact show, me and Jason 3D were confronted by two different people who hated us, right? And check this out. The first guy that came up wanted to beat us up because we were up there flying the American flag and it said "get fucked" across it. And he was a veteran and he was offended and he wanted to hurt us and he wanted to fight us, right?
Right.
But at that same show, some girl came up to us and she was offended because she thought we were some sort of right-wing oriented, group that was super pro-America. So 3D and I like fucking laughed our way all the way to the fucking van because it was like, we're getting fucking hatred from both people and we didn't even put that much thought into our actions other than like, hey, you know what? We stand up there in front of the American flag and fucking it's going to give people like a certain kind of vibe and they're going to have to make up their own decisions about what they're seeing. And that's what it's all about. You know, it's like if you come out there and you explain to people, I'm this and this is what I'm all about and blah, 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 blah. You can paint the picture and it's real easy. But I think the art of fucking you got to give people ambiguity and questions as to what the fuck's up, and that's
people need answers. If you don't give them the answers, then they're just like, well, fuck you then.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, it's,
and that's what I think about Gold Dust. You know, Gold Dust never was like, he never came out and said anything other than he's a movie fan, but people started concocting this evil villain in their heads, and they did all the fucking work and all that heat. It's like it's called,
and it's like, yo, have you seen his wife?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Seen his wife. They kiss at ringside. There shouldn't be any question.
Right. There's an old like a Sigmund Freud talked a lot about defense mechanisms, and later on people would expand on those, and they talk about projection. And what projection is, maybe I'm thinking about having an affair on my wife, but I'm not okay with that feeling, so I push it to the back of my mind, but all of a sudden I start feeling like I need to check her messages. It's the same thing with people and heat, you know. There's somewhere in the back of the mind of those rednecks, I think, is that they wanted to suck on a cowboy's dick. I don't know, but you don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't mind, but I know it's wrong.
Right.
But I mean, I wouldn't mind.
Right.
Well, yeah, I thought that same thing, and you just kind of came around and said it, but you're absolutely right. It's like, they see you guys standing in front of the American flag that says fuck in any capacity, even touching the American flag. And part of them is very like, you know, Ted Nugent with a machine gun and a flaming sword on surfing an eagle. Like, you know what I mean? There's that sort of energy behind something like that. But then like you said, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm not supposed to like this type of thing. Well, if I'm not supposed to like this thing, well, then obviously I should just shut this down. Let's shut this down. You know what I mean? Like, and then that's where they get all defensive or whatever. But in reality, it's like they meet Gold Dust at some bar, right? They're gonna walk up to him and go, "Hey, man." You ain't really right. No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna try to, because he's gonna be, if he's even out, because kayfabe. But
right. Yeah.
But like you said, heat is something that it's easy to get if you know how to get it. Like, and then there's the type of heat that I believe that you and I get, which is the genuine, like, well, we're not playing by anybody else's rules. We're not doing it their way. We're doing it our way because I want to do it my way. I'm still doing the same thing, but I'm doing it my way. And people don't like that because they want it this way. So then there's just the resistance starts, and that type of heat, if you can realize that what you're doing is not a detriment, what you're doing is rallying these people up. It's like, I don't know about you, I there's been minimal feedback at best, but like, I never read comments and stuff like that. Like, I don't waste my time with it. If you hate me, you hate me. Good. I'm glad I made you waste your time typing a paragraph about me somewhere, whatever. But
I am a little bit, it depends. Like, so we have a YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, and I take great delight in arguing with people on that, because like, people just comment random,
sure.
And I like those arguments. That's like a hobby of mine because it's heat, with reviews and stuff. I read them when I see them, but I can't tell you how many times like someone will send me one and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to read that. And then I don't, or I will later. So I always just try to keep in mind, good example. So we had a review once that said the Jasons are better than the queers. And I read that and I thought, well, that's cool, but that's one person's opinion and I'm just gonna keep it in here. And then I read one recently where the guy said, their music sounds too sloppy and too metallic to be punk. And I said, again, that's just one person's opinion. So I don't put any weight behind it. You know, if somebody thinks we're better than the queers, that's them. I think we're better than everybody because you have to be in a band and push forward. But at the same time, I try not to put any weight behind it, but I do try to share it. Like, if there's a bad review of the Jasons, we're still going to share it because some of my favorite shit that I found was through bad reviews. But if I felt like
here, I just remembered this. A 52 Ways review a long time ago. Jacks of all trades and masters of none.
Oh, Jesus. And you know, what that really means is they don't fit into my fucking mold. So I can't, there's, you know, you talk, I don't know if you've ever heard of assimilation and accommodation. It's the idea that our brains have the capacity to either take something and put it into an existing schema or make room for new. A lot of people, they can assimilate, but they can't accommodate. And like, let me read a review of you. This is crazy. I did take a screenshot of this. This is not a review of you, but it kind of is. So I'm gonna put a little clip of this video in here because I watched this video. When I watched this video, I knew to myself, I was like, this dude is destined to be a fucking successful pro wrestler. Back during the WWE Tough Enough, you did this video in your lair where you are now.
Good evening, boys and ghouls. No. Don't adjust your sets. You're tuned in to the Duke of Spook, the Doc of Shock, the man with no tan, your ghost host with the most, Hoax T Massacre. And tonight's episode is going to be a real gasp. WWE is digging pretty deep for talent these days, and I'd say that 6 feet under is about as deep as they need to go. You know, I've been waiting a long time for an opportunity like this, and I'm sure that I can be the one to get the WWE Universe streaming. You might even say I'll be a big hit. And besides, a little bit of ring action might just be what the WWE Universe needs. A little jolt to the bolts. You know, I'm the one that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. When you catch yourself looking over your shoulder, I'm the one you think you heard. I'm a big believer that the WWE Universe needs a better class of superstar, and I'm gonna give it to them. The horrifying sights that I can show are sure to keep the WWE Universe up all night. So horrifying, in fact, they're gonna have to keep repeating to themselves, this is only sports entertainment. This is only sports entertainment. This is only sports entertainment. So go on, scream. It might just save your life.
And like, it was like, at the time especially, one of the things that took me away from wrestling that made me kind of just be like, you know what, I ain't watching it. Now I watch it again now. I watch AEW. That's what I watch. But at the time, I looked at wrestling and I said, everybody just looks like a fake MMA guy. They just have trunks. They have regular names. They don't have good gimmicks. But then they were doing that WWE Tough Enough contest, and you made a video, and it was like the best horror host promo, and you posted it, and it was so good, and it was so refreshing because you brought back something more than a human being, like a superhero, a character, and you posted it up, and somebody said this about you. whoever WrestleTune is, this is 6 years old now. She said, or he, they said, I have a feeling this whole contest was just set up for this guy to debut in WWE, and he's already signed. Because that's how fucking, like, when you see it, have you seen that comment or no? You never read that comment?
I guess not, no.
Like, that's what, and it reads as that because it's so much like the perfect character, the perfect return of the good shit. But apparently at the time, WWE was too brain dead to do it. But like, you know, to me, that's the very best sort of like compliment for your ability to get over, we're going to use wrestling terms, is that somebody was like, you're not fooling me. That guy's already on the roster. And
right, well, I wish.
without creative, without somebody making your wardrobe. And it's like, you've been living this person that you are probably since you were a little kid. I've been living this person since I was a little kid.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like a lot of people look at me and, you know, they're like, love the gimmick.
Right.
It's not a gimmick for me.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, it's, we all wear masks, metaphorically speaking. But something happens, you know, I find that I'm better at being this than I am being a regular old human being, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally makes sense.
Like this is, I'm fearless. You know, I got nothing else to fear, man. I'm already dead. Bring it. Yeah,
no, I understand. And I think people that get into this kind of thing are kind of born into it. Like, they say that like whatever your earliest memory is, there's some profound lesson that you learned, right? Check this out. My first memory in my whole fucking life, I swear to God, it's real fuzzy, but I'm in the bathroom and I'm wrapping myself up in toilet paper to look like a mummy. And I'm going to go scare my parents. And I run out and everybody laughs. And I had the best time. And that's the little chunk. And when I think about it, I'm like, I'm still fucking doing that. I'm just really just wrapping myself up in a different thing and running out to entertain people for my whole fucking life as long as I live. And it's like, I think people are born into this, what we do, you know?
Well, it definitely takes a certain person, and it also takes a certain person to what makes people like you and I flourish are the masses of other people who wouldn't be caught dead wearing the color pink. That alone, let alone tight pants, let alone a shirt that says fuck on it, let alone painting your nails or dyeing your hair, let alone wearing a mask, let alone, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many lines that people like you and I cross. We're already halfway across the field before we realize how many of those we've actually skipped over because it came so natural. And then you look back and you're like, oh, you're still there?
Yeah.
You know, and then that goes back to the heat. A lot of people get jealous of people like that. I'm not saying that anybody's jealous of me, but I'm just saying, like, that on a subconscious level, like, the person that might be giving your band a bad review or who might be talking shit about me or my ring work or whatever could solely be based on the fact that it was one of those instances, man, like his wrestler's named was Jokes and he was you know what I mean, and he's fucking like, well, fuck this guy.
Yo,
you know, it could be one of those things that
make no mistake, if you're doing the right thing and you're doing well, somebody's jealous of you and somebody hates you. Like I'll tell you what, man, like the better the Jasons do, the more dislikes we get. And I know that that's a sign of people are paying attention. Like I did a commentary the other day, right? It was a 45-minute commentary. I had it posted for 1 minute. I got one dislike immediately. And that is for here on out, on every Jason's thing that I post, there's always a few dislikes in less time that it takes. Like,
Then it takes to listen to the whole thing, right?
and that also tells me that these people are subscribed to me, to us, so that they can dislike it. And again, when it comes to heat, nothing gives me a greater pleasure than knowing that somebody follows me just so I can irritate them. Like, so, and I look at, you go find your favorite, let's go look at Blink 182, right? I guarantee you, we look at Blink 182 or fucking, the Queers, or as soon as they post shit, they've got a lot of people that dislike it. And,
oh yeah,
in some ways, once you break out enough to have like more people than just your friends and your supporters, you start picking up haters. But to me, haters are like little badges of honor because they put enough energy into hating you that it's almost like there's a little bit of gratification in like somebody went out of their way to hate me. And like,
well, think about this, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There's always a guy who is front row or second row, maybe third row, the entire show like this.
Yep.
And in my head, I'm like, bro, you just paid $65 to get in here and do that? Like, okay. I mean, and those are just the people that you can't win. It's like, well, my friends were going and I didn't want to go, but I went anyway, so I'm going to do this or whatever. But like, you know what, man? Maybe this might be a little mischievous. Maybe it's knowing the ability and how to manipulate people when they realize that as genuine as it felt, as genuine as it was very calculated. And once they feel that calculation has come to fruition and they got worked, then they're like, hey. And that's all it is. 90% of everybody's reaction is, hey, well, McDonald's should stop selling coffee now. You know what I mean? Like, what in the world? And, well, dude, I'll tell you this. The transition from music to wrestling for me was not a difficult one in the sense that you would think. Because when you're in a band, you've got 3, 4, 5, 9, 10 people to worry about sometimes, right? It's a dictatorship, to say the least, as much as, or you know what I mean? It's a vote. You get weighed out, then everybody splits up and does whatever they want anyway. So it's like, what the fuck did we vote for? It's this. You can't make any decisions. I want to wear this. Well, we're not wearing that. Well, let's do this. Well, I don't think that's right. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. I want to book this place. We fucking hate that place. Why do you want to book there? Any number of reasons, right? But I only have to worry about me now. And not to say I didn't mind caring for my other bandmates. I loved them all very, very much. But it's a lot easier to play the field when you're not. Think of it like Walking Dead, man. You can get along and survive a lot quicker when you're not dragging your entire family and Mima on the wheelbarrow and the fucking dog and the neighbor who's fucking annoying and all those people. You know what I mean? If you get it down to your core group that all knows what the hell they're doing, boom, off you go.
Yeah.
like again, we tapped on it earlier, man. One of the things that drove me crazy about 52 Ways, and I never could crack the code, was merchandising. I don't know if we didn't know. I don't know if we were just so fucking old school that we were doing it wrong, not realizing we were doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I can't quite figure it out. When we had t-shirts, I couldn't give them away. Like, when we recorded our record, we sold a measly 10. Like, I don't know what it was, but with wrestling, I've been selective about putting stuff out because the market is much different. But like, I did a t-shirt. I did the fight was with myself. What do I want to put on it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this. I'm dropping it now. See this? I don't know if you can see that with the glare.
Oh yeah.
So this is like my merch pack, bro. You know what I mean? It's got a poster, a signed photo, little lanyard gimmick, barf bag, the whole nine.
Exactly.
Hey, dude, great minds. But something like that would have never come to fruition if I was having to wait on other people. Now, these things took me a lot longer than I would care to admit to create because of how I had to do it. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if I want to change the way I look, I can. If I want to take things a little more seriously, I can. If I want to slack off, that's on me. You know what I mean? It's not on anybody else.
Yeah.
And I like the independence of that. Once I figured, like, I kind of jumped in, and you're like, you'll understand what I'm saying. Like, do you start another band in wrestling? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you navigate solo artists amongst all the other artists and bands? And I chose to operate as a solo artist, so to speak, as far as locker room politics and things like that, except for my trainer, who's a dear friend of mine, and he's been in the business for 25 years, and I'm in good hands with this guy. So of course I run everything by him, but for the most part, I just sort of decided that I wasn't going to try to get too close because that would weigh me down. You know what I mean? If I start, because it's same thing in business. It's the old, well, let's get together and jam. You know what I mean? And then when that time, because you know what? You know it. I know it. Guess what? They ain't gonna jam. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
When
Let's
you
put out a
finally
split. Yeah, exactly.
When the time comes for you to actually do it, then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, okay. But I got damn this. Oh man, I gotta take fucking homegirl to the fucking Red Lobster or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and it falls apart almost immediately. But knowing, dude, I've been watching wrestling my entire life. Wrestling was my love before music was. I chose music because I never thought in a million years that I would ever be afforded the opportunity to do something like that. It was much easier to pursue rock stardom than it was to be the next wrestling superstar, But I've said this, and I've said this to my trainer many, many times, and some of my brothers in the back, and I don't know if this is going to offend anybody or not. I regret. All right, this is kind of half-hearted because without 52 Ways, I would have never ever met you. I would have never known 3D. I would have never met half the cats that we've played gigs with over the years. Like, I love everybody.
Oh, got it. Yeah, we're in it. Yeah.
Oh shit! Oh fuck!
Money saved. Money saved. This is gonna be 10 going blind. We're going blind this time. Versus the Hayes man. Michael Hayes versus Jason. Oh my God!
Hey, no elbows, dude. You can't watch his elbows, brother.
This is the only
You're
time
cheating, man. He's pulling my hair.
God, come on! Are you?
Take that, you red-headed
It's like
bitch.
two of my child.
Oh, shit. Oh, you fucking jackass.
It's a tie.
We need more money.
We need more money.
Best of three.
We need more money. Three.
But well, shit, I forgot what I was saying.
I mean, it sounded like where you were headed was if you had it to do over again, you would have jumped into wrestling before you even fucking.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I regretted wasting my time pursuing music, especially after all that bullshit we talked about at the beginning, and how it felt, and how it seemed, and it's just like, what? There's no community here. What the fuck? It made me regret it. You know what I mean? You have to work with musicians, and I use that term like this: musicians. You know what I mean? Every musician is a weirdo. I'm a weirdo. You're a weirdo. That's what makes us all work together.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's just, but having put up with all of that kind of conditioned me to where the migration in, like, dude, I can't tell you how many looks I've gotten and how much fucking hoax. Like, nobody got what I was doing, and some of them still don't. But it's you got to stay true to who you are, no matter what, and it's easier to do that when you're by yourself, and that's why I regret it so much, because I feel like, dude, if I would have decided to do what I did 5 years ago in 2007, I guess is when we started 52 Ways. If I would have done that, there's no telling where I would be right now, because I know how I am up to now. You know what I mean?
Though? My suspicion is this, though. Without 52 Ways, without learning about scene politics, without trying to make that record and then having it come out, not very many copies, all that shit, right? You would have gone into wrestling. You would have jumped into the wrestling culture. You would have been part of the scene. You would have went through the same bullshit.
Yep.
And then you would have ended up being like, fuck wrestling, I'm going to start a band.
I want to do music, right?
Because you needed that. Like, see, for me, like the Jasons is very similar. You know, what I was doing before taught me a whole bunch of lessons. And when the Jasons came around, I approached things differently. And just like you were saying, there was a point in my life where I tried really, really, really hard to do things like a complete hippie commune democracy where everybody had their say. And I realized that's not possible when you have like 6 or 7 people. Now, in the Jasons, I found my musical significant other. Me and Jason 3D, our brains are on the same wavelength to the point where very rarely do we even need to argue anymore. Of course, we have in the past, but we've gotten down to a place where we're like, we know where we're going and we know what we're doing. And when the band comes to a decision, it's kind of tempered through that. So what I'm saying, and then the cool thing is now other projects that are still going or new ones, I take that knowledge and I put it there. So I don't think like me and you both wouldn't be where we were, but we needed to experience the shit that we did, because I think that's what, it's not the fact that you keep doing a band or you move on. It's that you just keep doing something, and that's what you're doing and that's what we're doing. And it's like, I think, because we're both old, you and me both, for what we're doing,
Totally, yeah.
But we've been through enough that we know who we are and what we need to do. So, you know, and I have to say, I'm glad that 52 Ways happened too, because that's still one of my favorite records. I fantasize, I'm not kidding, that one day I'm going to start a record label, me and Jason 3D, and we're going to put that record out on vinyl like it deserves to be put out. You know, because like if I say this all the time, if I were running a record label, I would sign this bit. I would put that record out and say, this is a classic punk rock record that never became a classic, because the truth is, with that record, you guys had all that chaos of recording. You dropped the record digital only. And I can tell you, we do shit for digital sales, man. People want physical. But I think what happened was the record came out digitally and it was like, fuck, nobody cares. But dude, we both know a few people who are still carrying the torch for that fucking record.
Well, you've always been one of our champions, and I can never thank you enough for that.
Yeah, forever, dude. And like, so hopefully more people will check out the YouTube, but eventually, you need to just fucking, and I know there's probably issues with paying everybody or whatever, but that record needs to be in your press kit. You need to have that at your fucking merch booth. That's just all there is to it. I mean, that's what needs to happen. And if not, in the mysterious future, when I start my record label, when Camp Mando Records is more than just the Jason's label, that's a record that needs to come out. But, you know, who knows when that will be, so you might as well put it out.
Well, you know, that's very interesting. You know what? I on top of that, I still have like 6 to 8 songs that are still unrecorded, that are just written, floating around up here, that like, so if you know anybody who's in a band, maybe we can, you know, MySpace me, we can jam, you know.
We can collaborate. I mean, I'm sure if there's a scenario where myself and Jason 3D or any of the Jasons could help you put out a solo record, we would do it. Whatever needs to happen. I mean, every fucking cult, even just the cult of personality, an occult of personality, not just a cult, needs some sort of music fuse when they have their rituals. But I don't know.
You know what, dude? I'll share this with you. Just because I've been doing wrestling does not mean that I haven't been tickling my musical pickle. I've actually created some I'm working on some and have created some entrance songs for some of the boys already. Not your traditional anything that you would think would sound like, you know, would come from me, but you know, so I'm still creating and I'm still writing songs and tunes, but now it's like, you know, when you're in the show scene, the whole thought is, well, I got to write a 3.5-minute song. Well, I got to write a 2.5-minute song. Well, in my head still works that way, but I'm in the presence of a 1.5-minute song. You know what I mean? I like, and I'm like, dude, that's short music for short people. I can do that, you know, all day long. And it surprised me because I've written some things that I'm just like, huh. Like I've recently changed my music. I'll send it to you so you can hear it. But I was using Party Man from by Prince, and I enjoyed it. I had too much fun with it though. I need to take things more seriously. So I thought I would compose my own song. And I think having the musical talent, I use that term loosely, the imagination that I have, and loving the sport of wrestling like I do, I feel like I'm creating these cool little 2-minute pockets that help somebody who can't get their character across with anything other than sad but true. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or any, I mean, you go to, dude, I'm not even joking. Sad but true, Sweet Child of Mine, Click Click Boom, the that one, and countless other hip hop songs. But you can't. What I figured out with my own experience is putting my matches on my channel, 976 Hoax on YouTube, if anybody's watching. They would cut out, as I'm sure you know or are aware of at the very least, where they'll just mute your video.
Yeah.
Or they try to cover it up as much as possible. And I was just like, because I'm not monetizing any of that stuff, because I'm not getting the traffic. It's not worth my time at the moment. But it was enough traffic for them to mute Wild Side, and part of the video was me introducing the video for the Wild Side reunion. So then you've got like a minute and a half of silence. So I thought, well, if that's happening to me, that's got to be happening to other people. Let me write a song for you that is Jim Johnston or Jimmy Hart, and I think you know what I mean, enough to where you can use it and not worry about it. You can put your full... Dude, I don't mean this in any derogatory way whatsoever. There are a lot of dudes out there who their entrance is their match. Think about or you watch any match on the WWE network, ECW, the Sandman comes out and it is not Enter Sandman, you're automatically like,
yeah, it sucks. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can hear it in your head. You know when Excellent, you know it. You can hear it. When Chris Candido came out, back and back, like all those songs, but they can't use them. But then you think like, well, they can't use the ones that they wrote specifically for them. They got Jericho coming out to his current or whatever his most recent song was in like 1996 because of things like that. So that's what I was like, okay, well, let me do one. And that seems to be working out, man. Like I said, it allows me to tickle my musical pickle. But the beauty part is there's no scene. I can write whatever.
Dude, crazy coincidence again. So we just did a little local wrestling show, and I was working on a different project. And I messaged the promoter guy and I said, hey, man, if anybody needs wrestling music, I want to try once. And so there's one dude I'm supposed to write something for.
No way.
No, yeah, for real. And now this dude's character is very much a punk rock, heavy metal kid. So it's in my wheelhouse. But out of boredom here at the fucking quarantine zone, I thought, why not try something like that? Because I felt so grateful that those dudes let us go play in their fucking ring for our fucking video that we put out. They let us use their ring. So I was like, how can I help somebody? Same deal. Like, how can I help somebody? And so, yeah, I'm trying that too. Now, again, it's just going to be a fucking metal song or a punk rock song, but.
Well, see, that's the thing, the end that I don't have. I don't have the full band. And that's what everybody wants. Man, I want something like this, fucking whatever. And I'm like, like when I send you that my song, you're understand what I mean. Where mine is very orchestral.
Yeah.
I'm taking that again and not really meaning to, just working with what I have, but that old school approach, like the theme that I always want to spit out when I say like is like Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon did not have a rock song. It wasn't like Umaga where it was just like ooh, like noises or anything. Like He had an identifiable song. It set the tone. You know what I mean? And then you got like, but then you fall victim to like, you have Diesel, and then like The Big Show, and it's like the same song. And then I think The Shield is even very similar to that song. So it's just amazing that the spectrum that you don't even realize it when you're listening to it. But like Jim Johnson's back there is like, I'm just gonna change this.
Yeah,
Slow
yeah.
this down. Right. Well, it's the big show. Yeah, there you go. No, that's not Diesel.
all that matters is the hook. And if playing Ramones core music taught me anything, it's that, you can play the same chords, but if there's a memorable enough chunk of either lyrics or a lead or just a melody, those three chords don't matter. It's just the thing that gets stuck in people's head, like, so I mean, really, all this shit is so similar. It's all like very archetypal shit. Writing music, the scene, whether you're wrestling.
Well, I believe that people like you and me, Seiko, are forerunners. People like you and me are out there. We are on the front lines, really. We're putting our asses on the line. We're there taking the F and F words and you guys don't really sound like this, and well, you guys are all right, or well, you guys can't play here, or whatever. I don't know about you guys. It's like, and I know I witnessed it, but it's like you show up and the owner's like, you guys gonna wear those the whole time? And it's just like, yeah, like, what do you mean are we going to wear these the whole time? It's I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's the equivalent of this. It's the equivalent of this with regards to enthusiasm. Me and Phil McCracken, on the last thing I did like this, we determined that we were superheroes because of our lifestyle. It's true. But there's this old show called Key West. Nobody watched it. But it had Jennifer Tilly, hottest woman ever in there, right? And she played a hooker, and this young kid went to go and have his first experience, this 18-year-old kid in the show.
Sure.
And when he gets there, she says, now, do you have protection? And he says, yes. And she says, where is it? And he says, I'm wearing it. And she says, how long have you been wearing it? And he says, since lunchtime. That's what it comes down to when it's our fucking characters on and off. We take our characters off more than we put them on, I think, for the most part. Mask or no mask,
Yeah, it's like we were saying earlier, man. It's like it takes a certain somebody to go out and, I mean, I don't care and you don't care, but like the best way to say it is like it takes a certain somebody to walk out of their front door looking the way that we look. And in this society, looks are everything. So already, just based on looks alone, you're already competing, but you're also already standing out. You know what I mean? And that's the risk that you and I are willing to take. Standing out is a much more fruitful endeavor, and it's worth all the bullshit that comes with it, because then when in the long run, you don't remember all the bands that sounded the same. You remember the bands that stood out. Even if they all did sound the same, they stood out for this reason. They stood out for that reason. They had this guy. They fucking wore their hair like this. They did whatever. It's there has to be so many copycats in order for originals to become special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the reward is not like, we're not talking monetary reward. We're just talking about, you ever read the fucking the Iliad? In the Iliad, there's this great thing where Achilles has his fortune told, and they say, like, you have two options. You can go to war, and if you go to war today, you will be known as a god, and you will kill men, and people will sing your praises forever, but you will die. And she says, or you can stay here and have a wonderful life and have a family and have everything, and your children will love you and they will mourn you, but nobody will ever remember your name. And we know that Achilles chooses to go out and do that. And when I watch a movie like The Wrestler, that's what that's about. This
Totally.
dude's up on the top fucking rope about ready to have a heart attack. But at the end of the day, he has to do that to be that guy, you know? And so, like, it's not really so much about, like, I swear to God, I just hope, like, someday somebody there, and there will be motherfucker out there with the Jason's tattoo when I'm dead going like, yeah, man, they were my favorite band. Did they ever get famous? No, but they got heat, whatever. I don't know.
Right. Well, you know, I mean, I think that's the goal. Like, there's so many people that grow up with people on their walls as youngsters, and then the posters on the walls goes away for a lot of people, and then some of those people decide that they're going to be on those posters one day. And you know what, man, it's just like I said earlier, man, we're just the forerunners, man. We don't get the respect we deserve. Not that we're asking for any, but like, you know, like I've been one of your biggest supporters as much as I could possibly be, and I know it can't be easy. You know what I mean? Like you guys are constantly busy. You guys are constant. It's no different than the wrestling business, man. I mean, we're constant, and sometimes it's easy to get swept up, but it's easier to get swept up when you're following the grain. If you know what I mean, like if you're doing everything that everybody else is doing, of course you're going to get swept up in it. But every once in a while, you just you decide you want to cover your face, and everybody looks and they go, "Oh, that's cool." All of a sudden, one day you decide that you're a dead guy who wrestles, and everybody goes, "Oh, that's cool." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, whether or not any of that works, it's up to the audience, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
And that's where our true artist really thrives, is like, how do you feed your audience? You know what I mean? And how do you stay true? And that's what you got to do, is just stay true, man.
Yeah. And maybe during that process, somebody takes notice, and either they hate your fucking character, but at the end of the day, because you got destroyed by the fucking babyface, they walk out of there saying that was the best fucking wrestling show I ever saw.
Oh, dude, I want to get stabbed. I want somebody to try and stab me. That's how bad I want to piss somebody off.
I know a guy that stabs people.
But you know what, dude? It ultimately, when it comes down to it, is what's the old thing from the X-Men? Like, people fear what they don't understand, and what they don't understand is such a broad thing. If you could come in with your hat on sideways, and people look at you like you got turds hanging out of your ears. So it's like, I hate to be a broken record, but it's all about staying true. Like, I've never done anything other than what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, and I know you're very similar. You know what I mean? There's inspirations out the asshole, but at the end of the day, you're your own product, and nobody knows your product better than you. You know what I mean? And you got to take risks. And hopefully, by taking those risks, someone will stab me over the guardrail.
And then it'll be a situation like Achilles.
And then they will remember me.
You will die, but they will remember you.
Well, wait, dude. Wait. One more thing. I heard something, and I wanted to run it by you because I knew I was talking to you.
Yeah.
And I had never heard this up until like yesterday or the day before. Where do you stand on The Shining?
The film The Shining, Stanley Kubrick? Yes. I think it's a brilliant film. I think Stanley Kubrick, he did what I appreciate that artists do, which was he had to essentially do a cover song And instead of trying to do a complete cover song, he took it and he had his way with it, and he created something just as good as that.
That is a great way to put it. Okay, so are you familiar? All right, so have you seen like Room 237, the documentary, and all that?
Is that the one where they go real crazy with all the conspiracy shit?
Yeah, about the moon.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, so one thing that they didn't touch on, and I don't know how new this is. Are you familiar with the Wendy theory?
No.
Okay, so this is probably my new favorite thing. And I haven't rewatched it yet, but okay, so, and I can send you the link to it. Basically, okay, so you know how there's the whole thing where Stanley Kubrick, easy for me to say, Stanley Kubrick is such a mastermind at making films that like nothing was by accident, everything was meticulous, and these aren't like consistency errors and et cetera,
yeah.
And there's a lot of those in The Shining. For example, the chair's there, it's not there, then it's there, or whatever. This is there, then it's not there. This is different for a reason, and it's very random, right? So the theory, the Wendy theory, is that it's not Jack having the psychotic breakdown, but it's Wendy having the psychotic breakdown, and we're witnessing it through her hallucinations. Like everything that happens with Wendy, her scenes are slightly different. They're from behind, usually a wide shot. Something is there when it shouldn't be, but then it's there again. So it's like your memory's not the most reliable thing. Maybe this lampshade was in this room, but it wasn't on this table, type of bullshit that Stanley Kubrick might do. And she was the one that was abusing Danny, not Jack. There's all these instances where like the reaction from Jack, like there's this huge thing where like he's very dismissive of Wendy. And he's very like, well, yep, that's right. You know, he's very like very much a dick to her.
Yeah.
And it's and then like the whole explanation is like he's at, you know, when he's all fucking it's really him trying to be like, Wendy, give me the bat. But in her head, she's like, you know, that whole scene. But all sorts of stuff like that where it's like, you know, the thing that it's like, how did Jack get out of the fucking cellar door, right?
Right.
She whacks him in the skull on the top of the stairs. This is all the theory, by the way. Knocks him out there, drags him out to the bays and leaves him there. That's why he's covered with way more snow than just like overnight snow. Then from then on, it's all up here. Him breaking in the door. That's why Danny half the time is just like the whole thing with why did Halloran come to the hotel? Because what he told homeboy, well, the dude buddy told me that the caretakers were a bunch of fucking assholes, man, or whatever he says. That is the truth. The whole time Jack is just like, okay, you know, like Halloran pulls up, the thing's pointed this way, but Wendy doesn't know where he parked. So all those exterior shots, it's parked this way because she couldn't have known until she comes out. Then it's parked the way that it's supposed to, blah, 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 blah. I could draw strings to this all day. But that, I don't know if like I saw that video and I just was like,
yeah.
Like that was such an interesting take that Stanley Kubrick was like, no, this isn't about Jack. This is actually about Wendy. I was just like, whoa.
Well, and I mean that could possibly explain because, I mean,
all the like the dude in the suit, all the corpses, all the stuff that the blood is all when she sees it. Jack doesn't see any of that.
Well, and Stanley Kubrick reading that book, you know, there's a good chance that because that whole thing, the Stephen King book is very much about alcoholism and Stephen King's experience. Whereas someone like Kubrick is going to read that and have a totally different interpretation. We know that Kubrick is fucking weird. And here's the other thing. And I heard this somewhere and I it really opened my eyes to what was going on with Kubrick and why Stanley Kubrick would read a Stephen King book and not get Stephen King's intention from it because of this. The example I saw was Clockwork Orange. When you watch Clockwork Orange, Alex DeLarge goes to pick up his record. He goes to pick up his Beethoven record. He walks through the record store, and there displayed prominently in front of the record store is the soundtrack to 2001: A Space Odyssey. And what these film historians say, and I believe it's true, is they say that that was the point in Stanley Kubrick's career when he stopped reaching outside of himself and his own work for influence. So they're basically saying Stanley Kubrick has transcended to the level of a creator to where he no longer needs anything else outside of himself to be inspired by. So he put his own record in his film. And I took that. Now, I believe Stanley Kubrick is one of the greats of all time, the greatest of the fucking great, right? So I'm not saying that I'm a Stanley Kubrick by any means, but when I saw that, it inspired me, and it said, you know what, man? Be inspired by your own shit. No joke, which is why for the first time in like 20 years of making music, I decided that it was okay and it wasn't an ego stroke bullshit jack myself off thing to do to have a room filled with my own creations and things that I've done, because I feel like it's okay to be inspired by something you did yourself. And it's also, like we were talking with the scene, it's okay to not copy the same thing. And it's like with Stanley Kubrick, why would he want to direct someone else's vision? Right. He directed his own shit. So maybe Wendy, maybe it was Kubrick's film about Wendy. Let's think about this. He made what's her name?
Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall, who, by the way, for like 2 or 3 years of her life, she was super hot. She was super hot back then, even at that time. She looks weird in that movie, but she was hot in her own way. But anyway,
there was a window.
Yeah, boom, jacked off to it, but it was a short window. But still, like, he made her do scenes over and over and over. And maybe that's because to Kubrick, she was the central character. You never know.
Yeah, like the whole thing about like Shelley Duvall getting tortured on set. Like after I heard that, I was like, no wonder Jack's not. I mean, he's the star, but like Shelley Duvall's the, like that whole hearing that, like, dude, I'm not even gonna lie. I was above ground riding around and I was listening to that, and I was just like.
Yeah,
like I bought it. Like some of the stuff, it's like it's about the genocide of the Native Americans. I'm like,
I don't know that Kubrick had that kind of bend.
That's what I was thinking. But the Wendy theory, that I was like, okay, that sounds like a guy. It's like that's the twist that everybody, it's like, it's not like Stanley Kubrick wasn't just being like, fuck you to Stephen King. Like you said, that's what he got out of it. Like, well, obviously this is about a lady who's going through a psychological episode. I need to make this. And you're like, sure, Mr. Kubrick. You're like, what do you say to the guy, right?
I mean, like, what reason would Kubrick have to choose that if he didn't like it? Like, I think Stephen King had his own vision and he didn't see that translated. But let's face it, like I always go back to my my favorite quote. I've said this a million times, but it's applicable here. Like Alejandro Jodorowsky, he directed Santa Sangre. He's this amazing Mexican director, one of the greats also. To me, fucking sue me. He's right up there with the Kubrick shit. He's a visionary. He's amazing. He was gonna direct Dune, and he said he was doing his own thing. It was gonna be fucking crazy. There's a DVD out there called Jodorowsky's Dune, and it's about, but it never got made. But he said, and his quote was, translation from Mexican to American, so it sounds a little weird, but what he said was, on the night of your wedding, you don't leave your bride in her wedding dress. You rip it off and you rape her. He meant you bang the shit out of her, you know. And so he looked at Dune the same way. I can't leave this thing as it was. I need to take it apart and make it my own. And so I think the real fucking great directors do that. You look at Lucio Fulci, who was hired to make a ripoff of Dawn of the Dead and made a completely different movie because they can't not put their own shit into it, you know?
You know what, man? It just goes to show, you know, what, again, a guy who is not settling for anything else other than what he wants. And that's who we're talking about right now. You know what I mean? People have come up with theories about this guy's, like, could you imagine if they were like, well, actually, if you play Blood on the Streets backwards, Jason V is dead and it says so right here. You know, like how does that even start? Like, who looked at that movie and was like, you know what? That coffee can is about this movie's about the genocide of Native Americans. Like, yeah, but it happens. And that's because when you stay true to your vision, hold it all together, comes to fruition, and it's out there for the world to see, there are admirers of that. So unfortunately, there's a lot more negative people out there. But when you find somebody, it's like that's kind of what I was talking about before. It's like the train metaphor. It's like, dude, Stanley Kubrick's train car is fucking awesome. I can't wait for them to come back. I gotta see that thing again. Yeah. John Carpenter's train's okay. Dude, Stanley Kubrick's car. Rob Zombie's got a cool car too. But no, dude, Stanley Kubrick's car is awesome.
No, that's funny. That's funny, man. I just rewatched The Fog, right? And it had been like 10 years. And I watched it, and when I watched it last, it was like a 10 out of 10 movie, and I rewatched it, and I was like, dude, The Fog's kind of boring and weak. Like, how many times can you have a ghost come out of the fog and somebody doesn't believe it's a ghost and they think they're being pranked and it kills someone? And I think my love of Tom Atkins and, you know, John Carpenter created that. Let me say one more thing, too, just to circle back around to what we were just talking about. So when we were talking about Heat and how people go from being, I'll use Goldust again, everybody hates him, all of a sudden, people are starting to like him and he's not doing anything different. I'm going to use a Tom Atkins movie, Halloween 3. Here's what I think happens with Heat.
Dude, he's a heat magnet motherfucker in that movie.
Dude, well, and it's because everybody goes to watch this movie and it's not a Michael Myers movie. So everybody hates it. And when people really feel strongly about anything, and this goes back to me talking about how you're getting more and more popular the more haters you get, because there are certain people out there that are contrarian, and if they see people hating on something, they will like it and they will watch it because you hate it. So I think that's honestly what happened with Halloween 3. So many people hated it and hated it vehemently that the people that were like, you know what, these people seem like assholes, let me check this out. It almost created like, it's almost like the pendulum swung this way. And then all the people that were like, you know what, fuck those people, let me watch this myself. It started building a community of people who were really adamantly defending it. And then all of those people that hated it just to hate it started feeling uncomfortable because now they were on the like, wait a minute, I'm in the minority. So now they pretend to love it, because I'll tell you what, you go to a hot fucking horror movie convention now in 20.
I was just about to say. Yeah.
Everybody loves Halloween 3. Everybody loves Tom Atkins. Where are all the motherfuckers that hated it 10 years ago? Somebody's lying.
we had that same conversation. Tom Atkins was at the convention we were at, and I had just sort of made the comment, and I was like, you know, if it say what you want about part 3. Granted, should they not named it Halloween, it might have just been one of our favorite movies of all time and just not called Halloween. And then somebody was like, yeah, I mean, I always liked it. I never really had anything to say about it. Blah, blah, blah. And I sort of noticed that shift, and then we sort of made this like, so everybody here likes it? Yeah, pretty much. And we're just like, what?
Somebody's lying.
Where did that
Somebody's
come from?
lying.
Well, dude, imagine this. Could you imagine if social media was around when Halloween 3 came out? We would have not gotten to Halloween 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Or 6. Or we would have gotten them and they would have rebooted it 6 times, which they did anyway. But like the experience. Well, dude, it just goes to show you it's not just the landscape in any particular definitive profession, music, film, art, etc. The whole landscape for everything is changed. Yeah, and it changed really quickly to the point where it's like, like the bullshit that we went through. It's like, well, do we do digital or do we do physical? Well, digital was like the new thing. We thought that's what everybody was going to do, but it's hard to predict. You know what I mean? And like Weird Al, he's not doing albums anymore because it takes him so long to get an album's worth of songs. By the music comes through so fast now, by the time his album comes out, those songs are old news. You know what I mean? People are more comfortable now, especially with watching events on TV rather than even going to the show itself. They'd pay twice as much to sit and watch it at home at their leisure because they get a free shirt out of it too.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? The whole film, everything. People bring down movies because they don't like the casting of whoever it is without even getting the actor a chance to show if they can even act the part in the first place.
Yeah. Oh, dude, every time somebody's cast in a Batman movie, everybody loses their fucking shit. But, it's kind of like, I agree with you to some degree. And then I think of myself recently and my desire to go back to the old way. I mean, you're making these merch kits and stuff, so I know you're there too, where it's like, especially, I hate to fucking even mention the goddamn pandemic, but here we are, and it's like, in this, and because I'm not playing shows, and I'm not getting to see bands live, I want to listen to more, but it's weird because my listening, I have everything at my fingertips, but I can't hold it. And so during this whole time, I've been kind of wanting something tangible, something physical, because everything feels so separated. I miss walking down the street and being able to fucking smile at somebody. Yeah. I miss being able to get fucking slammed into at shows. So I'm reaching out for more tangible things. A good example. Let me see if it's right here. This fucking band, Seres Cruentia. I don't know what it means. They're from Greece. They're black metal. I had to buy this and have it sent to me from Greece. Yeah, I could listen to it digital, but I wanted to hold it. But I can't hold it because they don't sell it in the United States. But I'm going to import it, and it's going to cost me, $85. But it's worth it because everything else seems so fucking artificial, and it seems so easy that we miss the treasure hunt. You miss and I think it sucks that Weird Al isn't making music because if you can listen to fucking whatever. I'm not a big Weird Al fan, but if you can go listen to Fat and that's still funny all these years later, he should keep making records because I think people want something tangible. I want something tangible. Like, I could listen to anything on this, but I want to listen to it on that.
Well, you and I are very much cut from the same cloth, but it's like when you you know, I have a young hoaxling, and when you have one of those, your perception of things is different, and you notice other people and what they're doing and how they're doing, and you listen without even meaning to. And I've heard things where it's like somebody made the comment to me, they're like, oh God, what was it that they didn't have? Oh, it was like, yeah, I don't even have a Blu-ray player anymore. And I was like, yeah, it's all, you know, it's all on my phone. I can download it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that made me think, I was like, whoa. Like what you and I hold so dear, like I did it too. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want.
Yeah.
But not, I think somewhere down the line, people, they either want every single bit of it if it's 4 different colors with 2 different covers, and you know there's only X amount done, or they want it because it might be the only one or whatever. But that's all generational. You know what I mean? Like the kids that are kids that right now, they look at us like we looked at our folks. You know what I mean? And dude, you and I saw, it wasn't just like we only had records. Like our generation, we had records, 8-track, cassette tape, CD or laser disc, CD, MP3, all the way to download. Same thing with movies. We went, but our kids, they're like, what is that?
They got digital.
Yeah, they like my little one, I will pull a cartoon that he likes out of a box and put it, and he doesn't want to watch it because he can just go bloop and pull it up right there.
That's crazy.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But that's what makes, again, people like you and me, those products that we make so special, because we are putting everything we have into them and knowing that somebody is going to get it who wanted it almost as badly as you wanted to make it.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
you know?
sure, man. That's it too. Like I'm a collector of things, not as much as I used to be, but I still am, you know. And one thing I try never to do to Jason's listeners, is we put out stuff that's limited because, well, especially now we're not on tour. So if we don't sell it, we're not going to have a tour to take it on. So some things are limited, but we try real fucking hard to make sure that it's like, I know there are people out there that need everything. I'm one of those with certain bands. I've got 1 or 2 bands that I have to have everything from.
Right.
And I don't want to make it impossible for those people that want everything to not have it, because I'm an all or nothing person. And if there's shit that I can't get and I'll never get, I don't want any of it. Fuck it. I'm just like that. You know?
Hear you.
So
you can have the one you want. I don't want any of it.
Yeah, that's it. So I try to make sure that the people out there that that want stuff, I don't want to make it a situation where they can't have it for the Jasons or anything, because, you know, I think like it's like, for me, somebody's fandom of a band is as big as you allow it to be. So if there's a Hoax Tea Massacre lunchbox, then somebody can be the kind of fan that has a Hoax Tea Massacre lunchbox. But if all you got is a Hoax Tea Massacre sticker, you're only going to have sticker level fans. So when I see your fan pack, I've been to some wrestling shows and the gimmick tables are pretty skimpy. So if you're the dude with all the
got
merch,
one coming your way, actually, so you can tell me how awesome it is when you open it.
All right, I certainly will. I certainly will. But you got to create that level of ability for people to like you that much. So you're doing that. We try to do it. But like I always used to think that about bands. Like if you go in and you see a band and they have 1 T-shirt and 1 burned CD for sale, you don't think they're worth checking out. But if they got 50 t-shirts like our pals fucking Calabrese.
Right. They've got 19 t-shirts here. I wanted to look like you too.
There we go.
Now we're brothers.
Boom.
Yeah, dude, when I saw Calabrese for the first time, they made me feel like a complete penis, even conceiving the idea of being in a band. Like, yeah. I was just like, they have a hot topic. Like, they travel with a hot topic, like, no joke.
Yeah, they're doing it right. They've got it together.
R.I.P. Papa Calabrese.
Yeah. And you know what? There's another band I will always say I've respected for a long time because they don't get involved in shit. You never see Calabrese involved in scene politics. They don't go on tour with nobody. They'll do shows with people, but Calabrese stays in their own lane. They're in the scene, but not of the scene. Like, those dudes are playing it smart because they don't get involved in it. And I always respected it. They were nice to us when we fucking played with them, but they weren't trying to be best friends either because they know how it is. They fucking know how it is. You know, they've seen it.
Exactly.
So, and dude, and quite honestly, I think Calabrese, for me, they're not really even up my alley as a band. But I'll tell you what, I've bought Calabrese merch because it was so fucking cool. I own Calabrese merch. And I don't listen to them very much, hardly at all. I mean, probably in 5 years, I ain't listened to Calabrese.
I haven't listened to them in a while. Their later stuff is sort of waxed and waned for me. Dayglow Necro is probably where I sort of fell off. But I have a funny story. So they're from Arizona or Texas or something, right? Like,
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure.
They don't ever come to Atlanta. So they're playing Dragon Con. So, of course, me and all my ghoulish pals are all up there front row going crazy because we were into it, you know. And then they said something like, all right, this one's a cover. This goes out to all of the Misfits fans out there or whatever. Come up here if you know it. That whole shtick, right?
Yeah.
And they go, bah! They start doing it in Halloween. And me and my friends jump up there real quick and we start singing, and then everybody else decides that they're going to do it, and some idiot kicks a cable. All of a sudden, everybody stops. And their class slink back down. And I was like, man, Atlanta was too hardcore even for Calabrese. No wonder they never came back.
God damn, Calabrese at Dragon Con. Once again, talk about pushing outside of your local scene. Like, you know, nobody sets their sights on Dragon Con, but you should. You know, like, Calabrese is fucking playing it smart.
Guar played there, dude. The Misfits played there. I saw Guar, I think, like one of the first two big shows I did almost back to back was the Misfits and Guar. It was like when I saw them in Atlanta, and then like that summer at Dragon Con. And Dragon Con the year before was the first time that I saw Guar, period. And it just blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, these guys are fantastic. But yeah, dude, Dragon Con is a place that you don't ever think. Like, you got the Crew Shadows and Voltaire and all those guys that, you know, and then you got the rave crowd that goes until like 4 a.m, where it's just in there and everybody's sweating all over each other.
Yo, that's what it was like at the fucking gathering of Juggalos. Like,
this message is to the Jasons. We seen you out there. We love Friday the 13th, and we love what you do, man. Holler at us, man. Get at us. Let's do a show together. Let's fucking kill somebody together. Did I just invite him to kill somebody? I don't know. Just check us out, man. All right, peace.
Like, there were so many different types of people there, and like, I mean, there were a lot of Juggalos there for sure, but like, when we were there, like, it was strange because there was like, I mean, the bands that they booked and those fucking dudes, there were probably less rappers there than there were like metal bands and shit. And like, I mean, we're talking like they had fucking Clownvis Presley, followed by Mushroom Head, followed by KRS-One. You know, like, so it was so weird to see the mixture of crowds. I always tell people fucking KRS-One opened up for us because he played.
That's right.
Now, he played on a different stage, but they don't need to fucking know that.
I have a secret safe with me.
Yeah. But like, I mean, that's the thing, like bands like that. And I'm sure, dude, I guarantee you that a band, and Guar's played the fucking Gathering too. I guarantee you that Guar didn't have the discussion of, hey guys, do you think if people see us playing at the Gathering, they won't want to listen to it? No, because Guar does Guar shit, and they don't give a fuck, who thinks they're this or that. They know that their shit stands on its own, and that's how we felt too. Because dude, we were talking about how there were points in time or when Blink 182 was popular, that if you liked them, you weren't punk, fuck you.
Right.
It's the same way with ICP, and like there are people out there, and we're talking even probably adult fucking men in their 40s who would say, oh, those guys sold out because they played the Gathering. It's like, yo, look, man, it's just about this. Your band has an opportunity to play in front of thousands of people.
Right.
Like if you are so fragile that you can't play outside of your own lane, then your band's never going to go anywhere. And like, that's why a band like Calabrese, they obviously have their own shit. They don't need anybody else's fucking approval. And you got to fucking respect that, I mean.
Absolutely.
Guar, Mushroom Head, all those fucking guys. And the one thing that links them all together that ICP knows is the fucking gimmick. Like it or not, the fucking ICP crowd likes a good gimmick. And I mean, other than KRS-One, there's no fucking gimmick there other than he's the, philosopher. But
right. Well, so good gimmick is hard to come by, man. And that's why, what you're doing and what I'm doing currently, it's so similar. It's people appreciating a good character. You know what I mean? And when they can, good, bad, or indifferent, if it's a good character, they get behind it.
Yo, what's your favorite fucking wrestler? I never did ask you. I think I know, but who's your favorite?
All right, well, there's the obvious one. Macho Man, but I think before, because I wasn't exposed to WWF a lot when I was younger. It was only on like whatever USA. Georgia and Atlanta was a hotbed for wrestling at NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, WCW. So I got way more of that, And so, Ric Flair, of course. Roddy Piper is probably my fave though. Like even more, like I like Macho Man because I can do a good impression of him, and he was maniacal in every sense of the word. But Roddy Piper, man, he had the mouth, and I had a mouth. I was like, hey, that guy does what I do, but people, well, they're throwing shit at him, but like they're cheering, you know what I mean? Like he's getting a reaction by being like, whatever.
Yo,
but Roddy Piper. What about you?
I'll never forget, this is like an indie wrestler thing, but because we're talking about gimmicks, I'll tell you this. You may know, I'm sure you don't know about this indie wrestler because I don't think he's been doing shit forever, but when I was going to these indie shows, I would get the PWI Illustrated fucking thumbing through there reading about all the indies, right? And I saw this name of this guy, and his name was Morgus the Maniac. And it didn't show his picture, it just said Morgus the Maniac, and it said where he was from, and he was from where I was from, sort of. So I was like, I gotta see this guy. This sounds fucking amazing. I need to see this guy. And I'm thinking, he's got a straight jacket. he's got a fucking Hannibal Lecter. He's
Yeah,
crazy. Well, I went to see Morgus the Maniac, and he was wearing a pair of jeans, no t-shirt. He had a skirted eggshell, and it was all frizzy, and that was it. And I was like, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. He had it. He had the opportunity, and he fucking blew it.
So, all right, earlier when we were talking about Heat and you were telling the story of, I was like, oh, I got to chime in. So, or the one where the people are going to fight you in the crowd and all that. So I have a very similar story. So me and my crew are going to this show, and it's an indie show at a church. And I'm probably one of the least religious people ever. So that it held no cadence to me. I was going to see a wrestling show. But I didn't realize what type of church, big church. So we're watching this show. Main event comes along. Terry Taylor's fighting some dude. And he's wearing like normal, like civilian clothes. And then all of a sudden, dude, these ninjas come out of nowhere. They all start slinking and sneaking and being all like, you know, all that shit. And they get in there and it's a bunch of, you know, they beat them up. And all of a sudden I see a guy come out from where all the wrestlers are coming out with a microphone while the ninjas are leaving. Terry, what happened? Terry, what happened? I didn't know that this was the pastor or the preacher of the church, okay?
Oh, God.
So when everybody saw him, they were like, oh, that's Pastor Kevin. You know what I mean? Like, they're all in for the sermon. I had no idea. Terry Taylor, who just got beat up by ninjas. Oh, and they had shackles. What happened, Terry?
Oh, no.
And I stand up, and it's dead quiet, and I just go, what do you mean? They chained him up. I mean, this was a full-blown wrestling show up until that guy walked through the curtain. People were yelling and screaming the whole time, right? And then this happens, and this is where what do they call them? Skits for, you know, like, this was the church skit about how Terry had been fighting the demons and they got the chains of sin on him, and I'm gonna, you know, doing all that. I had no fucking clue. I'm like, yo, homeboy, he's got chains on him. And when I said that, everybody, and I mean everybody, even old Terry Taylor, who's all laying down in the ring chain, was like, like everybody was just like at me, and I was like, excuse me, sorry, excuse me, sorry, no, we're going, yeah, like you had, you know, on the way out. And I thought for sure I was gonna get crucified there on the spot or baptized or something, man. It was just like,
you almost got something cast out of you, I think.
Yeah, dude, I would have something would have happened had it not just been like, you know what? I'm gonna go clean my refrigerator. I'll see you guys later. Great show, folks. But like, dude, I couldn't even, like, it happened so cinematically. Like, when I stood up and said that, it didn't just get lost amongst the ambient crowd at a wrestling show. No. It echoed amongst this gym, the gym walls, and echoed across the basket floor. And I mean, like, people, like, you would have thought I just walked up and was like right there, in the middle of the floor. It was, and the funny part is actually a week before we had been at this place called Wild Bill's watching another show, same locker room, just different location. And you'll know what I'm talking about. Lex Luger, when he throws those punches, he's like, oh, 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 and he would just do that. So we saw him at that previous show, and he came in hot, bam, kicking everybody, and he stops punching, but my crew and everybody are still going, oh, 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 just making fun of him. And he kind of gives us one of those like, guys, come on.
Yeah.
So when I got up to walk away, and I'm like 6'4", you know what I mean? Like I've been I'm like, I've been a big freak my whole life. So I get like, I kind of squeeze my way to the back because I still want to see if anything else happened, And here comes Lex Luger. He just kind of steps right in front of me. And I was like, oh my God. I was just talking shit to this guy's face. And this is before I was wise, And I was probably like 16, 17. And I'm all like, he gave me one of these, like, it wasn't like a, oh, hi. It was like a, I remember you from last week type of looks. And I was just like, oh my God. Like,
you didn't have the desire to go, oh, oh.
Not then and there. No, not then and there. I had a foot on him too, man, but he was like jacked.
Yo,
and I was just like, I couldn't do it.
We played like a little festival somewhere, and they had pro wrestling, and I'm confessing this for the first time on here. I feel bad even saying it, but it's kind of funny. So we went and we were getting ready for the show, totally out of our gear. It was way early, but they were wrestling. So I went over to check out the wrestling, and I was just fucking being a dick. I don't know. But these dudes were wrestling, and you know who the maestro of wrestling is? Stro?
Yeah.
Stro?
Yeah.
He was wrestling in there. I didn't know who he was, because I hadn't watched wrestling in a long time. But he was clearly the villain. He was being an asshole. So I just decided to pick on him in whatever way came to my mind. So I started yelling, "Your nipples are white. Why are your nipples white? What's wrong with your nipples?" And I was just, nipple white. And he kept looking like, why? They weren't white. I just kept yelling, "Your nipples are white. What's wrong with your nipples?" And so then we played, and my face was covered, and I met this guy, and he was cool as fuck. Nicest dude ever. Watched our set, and the whole time I was talking to him in full makeup, I just kept thinking, nipples white. Why are your nipples white? Why? I just kept thinking it like I need to tell you that was me, but I never told him. And his nipples aren't white. For the record, his nipples aren't white. They're normal color, but in that moment, his nipples had to be white for me to yell it. So there we go.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. I've been told to shave my back many times.
Yo, they wouldn't say that to Michael Hayes, would they? No.
No, he just moonwalk all over their asses.
He certainly would.
Hayes man.
Fuck. That tag team right there. I've been watching this federation called the AWF from way back in the day, and nobody in the AWF was in their prime. It may be the absolute worst federation of all time, but it's become my favorite. And Michael P.S. Hayes is in there. It's near the end of when he was wrestling, and he's not looking great, but he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's an ogre now. He dresses like Steve Harvey, apparently.
That's better than those fucking Jinko pants, man. That blew my mind when I saw that the first time.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. When he was managing the Hardy Boys, this is a story that I heard. They were all at the mall, or stop me if you've heard this. And they're all buying all their stuff, and he's like, "Hey, you know what we should do? We need to go get some forks and knives and spoons and hang them all over our jackets like that, man. I think that'd be badass." And the Hardy Boys were like, "Oh, look, a hot topic. Here, let's go in here."
And then he came out with a fucking pair. That's the best part. He rolled out with them too. That's why I feel like hanging out with Michael Hayes would be the most badass time ever because he's down for anything.
I don't know if you're familiar with any of the podcasts, but Bruce Pritchard does a pretty good Michael Hayes. And one of my favorite quotes of Michael Hayes is because he's like a office guy now, right? Apparently there was this argument going on in a booking meeting, and Michael Hayes I don't remember the full story, but the quote was, "Well, I make money. What the fuck do you do?" And I was just like, that's so Michael Hayes.
Yo, even when I wasn't watching wrestling, which I only been started watching again for like a year, I was listening to all that shit. I mean, like everyone, fucking all the Conrad Thompson shit, Conan and Disco, all that shit, because even though I wasn't interested in what was going on TV, I'm always interested in what's going on with the creation of that stuff behind the scenes.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. I want to know how people, came up with their gimmicks, how people, all the fucking politics. And people keep telling me too, my friend Michael from Ghost Road, he always argues with me like, Hulk Hogan's a terrible person. Hulk Hogan played politics behind the scenes, but my final word on that has always been, that's not Hulk Hogan, man. Hulk Hogan was the dude that was in the ring, and that guy was an American hero. The guy behind the scenes, he may do whatever, but at the end of the day, Hulk Hogan is the dude in the ring. Hulk Hogan's not the dude that said the N-word and made a sex tape. No. That's the dude behind the scenes. What you put out there on the fucking stage is a whole different thing. That's why.
Isn't it funny how that works with what we do? Like even in a band, it's like, we'll go back to Guar's David Brocky, blah 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 blah. But you never hear like Tyler Durden committed a murder today. It's like it's Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
you're absolutely right. It's like that's not the guy. You know what I mean? Like they share the same body, sure, but that's not. It's not really Hulk Hogan. Like Hulk Hogan would never use that language,
No.
But Terry sure would.
Hulk Hogan is a creation of multiple people. That's a whole different thing. Yeah. And I'm also on the side of like, I can separate the art from the artist pretty fucking well. Like, I got no problem with any of that stuff. Like, and especially when you're talking movies, man, because I was like, somebody can say like, oh man, fucking Roman Polanski's a creeper. Yeah, but do we stop watching Rosemary's Baby? Because like 300 people made that fucking movie. Do we just say all their work's no good? Some people will say, yeah, that's fine. I disagree with that stuff. It's like people do shitty things and make good art. It's just the fucking. Now, it's different if you watch The Cosby Show and fucking Mr. Huxtable, there's an episode where he's raping bitches, but that's not what it's about. It's not about that. So, it's like if that person is a terrible person behind the scene, but that doesn't change that when I was a little kid, I fucking loved Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, man. It's like maybe that's just how removed I choose to be, but like people get so wrapped up in things and then they let whatever they're wrapped up in consume like you said, it's like it's not Hulk Hogan doing that. It's Hulk Hogan's the guy in the ring that we're all going ape shit for. You know what I mean? Hulk Hogan's the guy that we see on TV. But, not to run his name into the dirt, but like Steve Johnson will totally do a line of blow off of a hooker's tits while his tag team partner is tag teaming some college freshman, home ec class on their way to the next town. Right. And then they're going to come out there and be like, I love you all. You know what I mean? Like, it's all subjective.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, I guess that's where, like, to a degree, finding out too much about the person behind the scenes ruins it for some people. But to me, it just makes it more interesting. Fucking suspension of disbelief. I can make believe pretty fucking good still to this day. So I got no problem with it.
Yeah, dude, I don't have any problem with imagination.
No. Well, dude, I could probably fucking talk to you longer.
Yeah, I know, dude. We don't talk enough. I'm just sitting here going like, I wonder. Not that I care. I'm just like, we're just going and going like it ain't no thing, man. And you know what? That's what shows me that you and I are true friends, because we talk more than we've physically seen each other. But every time we talk, it's like we just pick up where we left off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, that's what's kept us fucking tied to each other all these years. Because, dude, it's been like I mean, just pulling up that, it's been like 6 or 7 or whatever years, 5 years since we had anything connecting us musically. But have always been a fan of just you as a person, as a human being, but also as Hoax T Massacre and your fucking bands. And like, there's
the
definitely,
feeling is very mutual.
I appreciate it. And there's definitely a part of me wanting to talk to you on here is that I really do always have felt that 52 Ways as a band never got its fucking day in the sun. And but at the same time, like, it's still going on, like it's just going on in the fucking ring. So I want anybody that listens to me or listens to the Jasons to check it out, because like, I don't know, man, like, shit's just, there's all kinds of good shit out there that some people miss, and I know a lot of people missed it, and hopefully they won't miss it now. Maybe they'll check it out.